Good morning. It's Tuesday. It's time for coffee and Cursey words. I have a very, very busy show for you today because there's a lot to talk about. And next week, we are going to be getting into live day-to-day trial coverage. So I'm like, if we don't start now, we're never going to get to it all. So today, we've got some Murdaugh trial updates, and that will also be the podcast for tomorrow. We have a quick Jen Shah update. Morphe filed for bankruptcy. The defense attorney for Bryan Kohbergers has not stopped talking to the media. There are similar interviews that I have found that we're going to chat about. Attorney Tom, who's a creator here on YouTube, is suing Logan Paul and CryptoZoo. Asterisks. We're going to talk about that. And well, that's, I think, going to take us through the show. The other thing I need to know is, have you seen what social media is doing with these right now? Yes, I have one of them that's full of water. I need to turn the handle around. The handle has to be different. Like driving, it goes this way, but at desk, it goes this way. But have you seen what the internet's been doing with these? The amount of you that sent me links on Facebook, in DMs, on Instagram, on TikTok, all the things. Is whether or not I can actually drink my Irish cream cold brew from inside of the Stanley Cup. So we're going to roll the intro and then I'm going to try it because actually it is dripping wet all over the place. And if I can do it with a handle, I am going to be stoked. So we're going to try that for sure. So it's absolutely great. It's absolutely great. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Are you covering the new Amber Heard lawsuit? Isabel, we're going to talk about that after I roll the intro. It's not really a new lawsuit, but its coverage is going to go till Thursday. It's not really a new lawsuit, though, so we'll talk about that in a second.
Hey there, I'm Emily D. Baker, the internet's go-to legal analyst, breaking down the legal side of the pop culture and entertainment stories we can't stop talking about. I'm a big fan of the Cursey words. I've been a licensed attorney for over 17 years, but this is not legal advice. This is where the law nerds unite to talk about facts, not. Let's get into it.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for letting me know what you're drinking and where you're coming in from. Yes, we have been zhuzhing the intro. I think I might zhuzh the audio on that a little bit more, but I love it. We're here for it. It's a thing. It's a vibe. I like it. So we might zhuzh it. We had to adhere to YouTube's like longer intro, no Cursey policy. So we're working with playing nicely with the platform that we love and also still being ourselves. It is a balance. It's called balance. It's called balance. So we're going to take a look and see if this fits before we get into our stories today. There's a poll up there in the chat. Replay crew, love you. I hope I don't have wet finger. I'm nervous that this is going to like splash down. Okay. It didn't. It seems to be intentionally glorious. I'm nervous, but we're gonna go through the stream. If I end up with coffee all down my front, then we're going to know that TikTok lies to you, and that's what it is. But this was the ticky talk talks were sent all over for this. So maybe it works. I see everybody drinking them with straws. Look, I need the coffee to go through the foam. It is a process. Look, foam with all the sugary sweet goodness. Coffee. The coffee needs to go through the foam before it goes into my mouth. With a straw, you subvert the foam, which is literally the entire freaking point of the drink. That's the most delicious part. Anyway, tomorrow we have a members only live stream. I don't know where These Are My Monkeys is. These are my monkeys. Where are you? I know you're in the chat somewhere. These Are My Monkeys said something. And if you don't watch all of the streams, then this might not make sense. But if you watch the streams, this will make sense. So These Are My Monkeys said something, and I'm going to do a dramatic reading of it during tomorrow's members only live stream. Emily, did you pull up your calendar and check exactly what time it was at before you started talking about it? No, I didn't. You know what's happening next. These Are My Monkeys. You're the only one who knows what's coming next. So I'm going to do a dramatic reading during tomorrow's members only live stream, which is from 5 to 7 p.m. Central. Linda's tight little clam needs loosening. I don't know why this exists, but it feels like a how-to guide. I have resisted deeply reading this book. The amount of curiosity that is happening in my brain. I am doing a first reading of this on tomorrow's members only live stream because I can't breathe. We have done a few readings of books on the members only live streams before, and we will do it again. Is this a children's book? No. It is styled like a children's book, but it is not, in fact, a children's book. I don't think. I have not read it yet. So we're going to find out what's going on with Linda and her tight clam that needs loosening. I can't wait. So this is what's happening tomorrow. So if you've wondered what goes on members only live streams, sometimes we read books, sometimes we watch music videos. Those streams don't always stay up very long. Sometimes we watch music videos and talk about them. Sometimes we talk about cases. Sometimes we talk about the world. Sometimes we talk about all of the things. So that's what goes on the members only live streams. That's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. We have read books that my kids have brought home from school. Look, we've read all kinds of things. That's what it's going to be. I will ask Rob if he's available tomorrow. But you guys, if we ask Rob if he's available tomorrow, assuming he's not here, Rob's not here. Assuming he's not here, Rob, you're not here. We can't tell him what we're doing. Speaking of friends on the stream, I wanted to give a huge shout out. Let's see, we're going to talk about two things and then we are going to move into our topics. So the reasonable minds can differ. Emily, is your screen ready to share? No, it's not. How soon into the stream before Emily is a professional? Immediately. We're immediately into the stream. Immediately. The team decided that we needed that, and I think that we did. So immediately into the stream. Reasonable Minds Can Rebuild. The fundraiser for my friend Rick Hoeg, who is recovering from his stroke, is up to $130,000. Thank you. I know that not everyone can financially donate, but between over 2,000 people, this money was raised to allow him to focus on recovery, and it's absolutely incredible. Not worry about if his family's going to be okay, not worry about the bills that are mounting because medical is ridiculous, not worry about his law practice for the moment, though I'm sure he still is, but to just focus on recovery. And the updates his wife has been sharing have been so encouraging. Law nerds, you are the greatest community on the internet and you are so protective. We got a number of emails from you saying, is there a Give, Send, Go, or is the Give, Send, Go a scam? There is a Give, Send, Go. It is under the exact same name. So if you see the Give, Send, Go, it is also an official Give, Send, Go for those that didn't want to give through GoFundMe and wanted options. And for Rick and his family, I'm like all the options. So if you want to support my friend, you can obviously financially donate to the GoFundMe. You can subscribe to his YouTube channel at HoegLaw. You can watch back videos. There's an episode of Lawyers and Dragons where I do play D&D on the internet from Vegas early in the morning. Because time zones. I didn't think of when I said yes to how early it was because Eastern. I was like, okay, it's early, but Eastern, but also it's early, but also Eastern. I'm Central, it's fine. I didn't think about the fact that I would be in Vegas. So that exists on the internet. Are you looking for my keys, Dr. B? Yes. Okay. Yes. So that's absolutely incredible. And yes, I was just going to mention this. It's actually in my notes. Legal Eagle also gave a shout out to Hoeg. Hoeg is really collegial with the community. And I've seen literally everyone within the community, even people that maybe don't know Hoeg directly, but interact in this space of lawyers on the internet being tremendously supportive and tremendously kind. From literally from Legal Eagle to Nick Rekieta, it's like everyone has been tremendously supportive, and it is absolutely heartwarming. There are moments on the internet where you're just like, it's just so nice to see. It's so nice to see. And we get these moments of like, yes, that is why we are an internet family. Captain Corey gave a shout out too. I haven't seen that. I have not gotten to watch a lot of videos. I was up very late filming yesterday's podcast, or tomorrow's podcast. I'm so glad that Captain Corey gave a shout out. It's incredible to see the community give back to the community and to see the internet come together for positive things. And that's what this community's always been about. It's not screaming at people on the internet. It really is coming together on the internet and celebrating together. And we get to do that in the chat every single time I'm live. We get to see people celebrating milestones and graduations and new careers and recoveries and stopping chemo and beating cancer. And we also get to hold each other in the times that are hard. It's absolutely incredible. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So with Rick, you can obviously support through the GoFundMe at Reasonable Minds Can Rebuild, which we'll link. You can interact with his YouTube channel, leave a comment, like a video, watch a video. All of those things help the channel stay thriving while he is taking time off the internet, or should be, because he was up on the Twitters yesterday. So if you're not on Hoeg's Twitter, he tweeted yesterday. I shared that on my Twitter today. We'll pull that up before we go to our little quick bits. So let us pull that up. We're here for the live streamings, ness. Let's see. I'll share what I shared, which is, here's Hoeg's tweet. Hey folks, so had a bit of a stroke. Friend. I don't know how else you say that. How else do you come to the internet and be like, so things happened? So hey folks, had a bit of a stroke. Had a bit of a stroke there, as I know many of you've heard. Ms. HoegLaw has been doing an absolutely amazing job keeping me apprised of all the wonderful thoughts and more coming from all of you here on the internet. Just know, while rehab may be the hardest thing I've ever done, this thing isn't going to kill me, and however that might make you feel is entirely due. And however that might make you feel, it's entirely due to Ms. HoegLaw. Ms. HoegLaw has been, she has just been like, okay, our lives are turned upside down. This is where we're at now. Let's do it. And been wifing and momming and caregiving and figuring out co-counseling and all the other things. So it's been absolutely incredible. So just, you may have heard, maybe had just a wee bit of a stroke. It's NBD. Look, Hoeg's like, no big deal. Brains heal, and we're good. It's so Rick. It's so. If you haven't seen the video on his channel, for those of you that aren't super familiar, Hoeg has a very family-friendly channel, and I have a very cursey words laden channel. So there is a video on Hoeg's channel of my curse jar, because the law nerds, when I am on Hoeg's channel, donate to the curse jar in case I curse, which is going to happen. So there is a video. Let me go find it. There is a video on his channel. I think the thumbnail is a purple heart emoji. I will find it. There it is. There is a video up with a purple heart. I will link it for y'all, of me on his channel with the curse jar. I think this was the first time I was on his channel, and I was trying not to be disrespectful. It's just me trying to withhold the curse words and failing, and the chat being like, girl, we've got you. Here's money for the curse jar. So they were super chatting Hoeg so that I may curse on his channel. And I really do. Just like I expect people to come into the chat and respect the rules in our community, I really do try to respect the rules when I go elsewhere. And generally I'm pretty good at it, but there's sometimes that curse words, especially when I'm on the internet, just they fly from my mouth when there's fuckery. I can't always help myself. I try very hard, and he has such a good sense of humor about it, and then has a great sense of humor about it when over on this channel. And I'll share those videos as well, because if you haven't seen the night of Wood Daddy Stacks, go revisit. It's Hoeg on this channel. and it's ridiculous. So I love it. Thank you all for your support. I appreciate it. Let us get to a few snippy, snappy little quick bits because we need to do that. And we're judging things in 2023. So let's get, which quick bit should we talk about first? Is our poll still up? Let's keep our poll going, but we're going to talk about quick bits real quick. Do we talk about Jen Shah first? No, we'll talk about Murdaugh first. Let's talk about Murdaugh first. Quick bits. I love our bumpers. They help keep me on track. Let's talk about the Murdaugh trial. Murdaugh starts next week. If you are not following this case, tomorrow's, I'm trying to save this comment because I want to get to it. Tomorrow's podcast, The Emily Show, is kind of a breakdown, a really quick overview of the case. Then some of the motions that are going on in court. Will a lie detector test be admissible in court? Is all the financial crime evidence coming up? Or is it just going to be mentions of the financial state? What's happening? So all of those motions in limine, in lemonade, all of those motions are still going on. So I talk about that in tomorrow's podcast and give an overview. I gestured with my hand so wildly, I hit my cup. And talk about what I expect to see and what I'm interested to see how the prosecution deals with, because there are some questions in this case. So with that, there's a lot of questions, but Alec Murdaugh, disgraced, now disbarred South Carolina attorney, his family was like something you would read of in like a John Grisham novel, like 100 years of prosecutors in this area, a hugely prominent, wealthy family in the Low Country in South Carolina. Everyone knows them. How do they pick a jury? I have questions. He's accused of murdering his wife and son, and that is going to trial next week. I believe we will be starting trial coverage on Wednesday. Why do I say that? And this is an update. So when you hear the podcast tomorrow and I say there's no update yet, it's because last night there wasn't. and now there is. So that's why the update is a newer update as to as to right now and not to then. So now that I've shared the wrong screen, we're going to go and share the right screen and talk about what the court put out today. What the court put out today that we need to take a look at. Why is this not? That is the wrong one. All right. Come on, screen share. Well, don't make me we are professionals twice in one morning. There we go. So this is coming from Twitter. From Avery G. Wilkes. This is an order from this morning regarding media coverage and is giving us a really good breakdown of what's going on in the Murdaugh case. And I'll tell you why I think the things I think based on what the judge has put in today. This is a new update. Yesterday, tomorrow, in the past and in the future, because time is a construct. In the podcast that comes out tomorrow, I talk about the order regarding the jurors and other things and other motions in limine, but we haven't talked about the order regarding media coverage. This just came down. So in addition to the rules of the area, pool coverage, audio, visual coverage of the trial will be provided by Court TV. This doesn't surprise me. Court TV has provided the pool cameras for quite a lot of cases. They are professionals at doing it. You guys already told him? Well, it was supposed to be a surprise. Y'all don't keep secrets well. Hi, Rob. Good to see you. So, Court TV has done a good job. They did a really good job in the Brooks case as well. So people are like, why is Court TV the only one allowed in? That's not what this means. Court TV is the one operating the cameras, and they are obligated to share that feed with literally everyone. Here's what most courts do. We don't always go over these orders, but there's so much interest in this case that I thought it would be helpful to go over the orders. Still photography of the trial will be provided by the Post and Courier and McClathy newspapers. The court will direct the positioning of cameras by accepting access to the court proceedings to provide pool coverage. No media organization is permitted to claim or assert any copyright in any image or audio obtained in the courtroom. Hey, Law and Crime, That's how pool cameras work. Thanks for understanding. No media organization is permitted to seek a licensing fee for the use of the images and audio obtained in the courtroom by other media organizations in attendance at the trial. Court TV, in providing audiovisual coverage, is required to transmit images from the courtroom to the Overflow Media Center contemporaneously with the proceedings. Video and audio recorded by Court TV, which are not part of the contemporaneous feed to the Overflow Media Center, must be made available to all media organizations in attendance at the trial. Images obtained by pool still photographers must be made available to all media organizations in attendance at the trial. At the close of each day, at least one pool photographer will be allowed to remain in the courtroom for up to 30 minutes under the supervision of the court reporter and clerk of the court to obtain still photographs of trial exhibits entered into evidence. So in Depp v. Heard, we had those uploaded onto a system. In Murdaugh, the still photographers are going to be taking photos of the evidence that's admitted. So if it's documents or whatever, it's going to be a whole lot of things. Courtroom seating. Seating is limited. Reserved seating will be provided for limited media organizations. And we're going to go through the media organizations that have been granted access for reserved seating. Walterboro Press and Standard, Hampton County Guardian, the Island Packet, the Post and Courier, the State. These are local organizations to the best of my knowledge. The Wall Street Journal, Fitz News, also an independent local organization, Associated Press. Luna Shark Productions is Mandy Matney's company that produces the Murdaugh Murders podcast. WCSC-TV, WCIV, WCBD, WTAT, Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC, and CNN. So each organization is allowed to have one reserved seat. Then there will be lottery seating for 4 on a daily basis, and then an overflow. They talk about how to enter the lottery. Then there's overflow media access. Access to trial exhibits are going to be by photograph. And reporters will have 30 minutes at the end of the day to review exhibits. I don't know if this is the same 30 minutes that they're going to supposed to be photographing these, in which case I hope they prioritize the photographing versus different media outlets looking at it and hopefully not touching the exhibits, etc. So that's a lot. They talk about who's permitted to have what. Media may utilize handheld microcassette tape recorders and any other portable recording devices. The use of any equipment that causes a distraction is prohibited. The use of cell phones is generally prohibited. This order permits the possession of cell phones provided that they are turned off or placed in silent mode. Abuse of this privilege may result in termination of media privileges. So there won't be live tweeting of this trial from those inside the courtroom, but there will be probably live tweeting from those who are just watching the stream because it is streaming. So, no reserve seat for a court TV reporter. They might not have asked, and they have the pool camera. I don't know if Chanley Painter is going to be in South Carolina or if she's staying in Iowa or Idaho. And I don't know how you pack to go from Idaho to South Carolina either which way, because it seems like she has been on location forever in Idaho. So I did not see reserved seating for Court TV. They were not listed, neither was Law and Crime. But I also don't know if Court TV is expecting their coverage to just be streaming coverage and have commentary outside of the court. We will see, or if they will join the pool, if they will join the lottery to do it. So that, but I don't know. Let's continue. Let's see. They talk about prohibited equipment and then jury selection. Media organizations with reserved seating are allowed to attend jury selection. So we will hear from this from Fitz News. We will hear from this on the Murdaugh Murders podcast. But media organizations without reserved seating may attend along with members of the public if seating is available. So first come, first serve. Prospective jurors and seated jurors are to be identified only by juror number, not by name. No prospective juror or seated juror at any time may be photographed, recorded, or identified. That's why I think we will not see, and I think this is pretty clear, that we will not see jury selection and the voir dire process streamed, because in streaming the voir dire process, you are necessarily recording that juror speaking about their life, their job, themselves. So I believe, and if that changes, I'll let you know, but I believe that the trial will start on Wednesday, and we will absolutely we will be covering that gavel to gavel together. It should be starting at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The way I love a trial that starts on Central Standard Time. The way I love a trial that starts on Central Standard Time, it's going to be early. Y'all, I don't like being on camera at 8 a.m. But I do like covering trial, and we're going to cover it together. And tomorrow I talk about all of the little things I'm interested to see in this trial, because there are some big questions here. This is not a trial where I'm going into it expecting, like, there are some criminal trials where you look at it and you're like, all right, this is just a very slow way to get to you being guilty. I got questions on this one. It doesn't mean I don't have my own personal thoughts and beliefs, but I have questions on how the prosecution is going to prove it, what evidence they have. There are actual questions here that we will need to be talked about. And then it goes on to the rest of the order with bags being prohibited. So this is coming from Avery Wilkes on Twitter, who follows me. Hey, Avery, who is chief investigative reporter in Columbia for the Post and Courier. The Post and Courier has actually been really great. It's been one of the resources I've been using quite a lot. So fantastic. Thank you for that. And thank you for letting us know what's going on the scene. So that starts next week. It's going to be real busy. It's going to be real busy. So for those of you on the West Coast, buckle up. They're going to be early days, but of course those videos will stay up, and I will be splitting them at the lunch break again, so you can go back and catch up if that's needed. All right. We're going to end the poll and then decide our order next, but let's talk about Jen Shah real fast. So Jen Shah, there's a few more things that are now filed. We've got an order. We've got a new order, and then we've got a new sentencing submission. Remember when Jen Shah was supposed to submit it not redacted? Yeah, I have some questions about that. So let's talk about it real quick. Here is the court order from January 12th. On January 3rd, Intercity Press filed an application to unseal certain exhibits and unredact certain portions of the sentencing submissions in this litigation. Defendant responded January 5th. On January 6th, the court heard argument. Pursuant to the rulings of the court during that conference, defendant is directed to 1, blur the faces of all third-party individuals in Exhibit B to the defendant's sentencing memo, which has been filed under seal, except for the faces of defendant, her husband, and 2 sons. 2, file that version on the public record. And 3, unredact the redacted portions of her sentencing memorandum and accompanying exhibits to the extent determined by the court on January 6th, and file those revised documents on public record. So that's what the court said. We will take a look in just a moment at what Jen Shah has submitted, but we also have the sentencing. Where did it go? Did it not get into I downloaded it. Why don't I see it? Her sentencing memo is in, or her sentencing submission from the court is in. Let me just go grab it directly from Pacer real quick, because it's supposed to be in my notes, but today's going to be a whole day of We Are Professionals because we were prepping this stream this morning after finishing recording of the podcast. But speaking of the podcast, y'all, we're going to just take a moment to say thank you to all of those that have gone over to Quick Bits and watched the Quick Bits podcast and listened to the Quick Bits podcast. It has been so tremendously well received, and I am so excited that that's a format that's helpful. A lot of you are like, girl, I love you, but some weeks, like 4-hour live streams, are a lot to chew. I absolutely understand and get it. So the Quick Bits are a Friday roundup to keep all of you up and running. So up to date and to know what's happening. So thank you for the love on Quick Bits, for subscribing to the Quick Bits YouTube channel and to that podcast on your favorite podcast player. It really does mean it means a lot to know that that's helpful. I want to put out content that doesn't just help you understand, but also makes the information accessible. And I realize that though I enjoy a 4-hour live stream with you all, sometimes it's not accessible because you just don't have the time, or you just need the summation of a thing. And it also challenges me to summarize what I think the main points of the week are. Like, these are the main things we took away this week, and that is really fun for me to get to do and say, "Oh, what were the main takeaways this week? What were the things that you need to know the most?" And I want to get that between 8 and 10 minutes. Sometimes it'll be a little longer, but it is my goal to get that between 8 and 10 minutes. So, that's what we're shooting for. So we can see every week. You can come along and see if we make it. Come along, pond. Let's see if we've made it to 8 minutes or if we're at 15. We'll do it all together. Let's look at Jen Shah's sentencing. This is judgment in a criminal case filed on January 12th. Defendant is sentenced as provided in pages 2 through 7 of the judgment. Let's see. Defendant has been found guilty. No. Counts, all open counts are dismissed. The defendant pled guilty of just the one count, so that's why the open count was dismissed. So the conspiracy to commit wire fraud was the plea, and then the defendant is adjudicated guilty. That's the plea, not found guilty. That would be, adjudicated guilty. This is the not guilty. That didn't happen. So with that, the open counts, which is the conspiracy to commit money laundering, was dismissed. Imprisonment, 78 months. Defendant to be housed in the southern central region of the BOP, which I think the Department of Prisons. I don't know exactly what BOP stands for. I didn't look. Defendant shall surrender for service before 2 p.m. on 2/17/2023. Let's see. Supervised release for 5 years. So after Jen Shah gets out of custody, there will be 5 years where she will be supervised. These are the conditions. They will be looking at you. Not commit another federal, state, or local crime. Must not unlawfully possess a controlled substance. Must refrain from any unlawful use of a controlled substance. Must submit to drug test within 15 days of release. You must cooperate with the collection of DNA as directed by the probation officer. They normally do that when they go in, but yes. You must comply with the standard conditions, and these are all the standard conditions. Report to probation. After initially reporting, receive instructions. Follow the instructions. You must not leave the federal jurisdictional judicial district where you are authorized to reside without getting permission. So if you want to get on a plane to go visit your kid, you have to get permission. If you want to take a flight out of the country, you have to get permission. You don't have to just plan a flight in a hotel. You actually have to get probation's permission. And if you don't, it will be a huge problem. Truthfully answer questions when asked. You must live at a place approved by probation. You must notify probation 10 days before a change. You must allow probation to visit your home at any time. These are like search and seizure conditions. They can just go take a look. You must work full time, at least 30 hours per week, at a lawful type of employment unless the probation officer excuses you from doing so. If you do not have full-time employment, you must try to find full-time employment unless the probation officer excuses you from doing so. You must notify probation at least 10 days before any change. You must notify probation at least 10 days in advance. If that's not possible due to an unanticipated circumstance, you must notify within 72 hours. You must not communicate or interact with someone you know to be engaged in criminal activity. If you are arrested or questioned by law enforcement, you must provide notification to probation. Like if you get pulled over for like a DUI or something, you have to still tell probation. You must not own, possess, or have access to a firearm. You must not make any agreement with law enforcement agencies to act as a confidential human source or informant without getting permission from the court. You cannot cooperate with the government without telling the court. You must follow the instructions. Special conditions of so these are added for Jen Shah. These are the standard ones. This is everybody. Standard. These are special. These are for her. Provide probation access to requested financial information. That's not unusual in financial crimes that they have access. They need to see what's going on with your bank accounts. You must not incur new credit charges or open additional lines of credit without approval of probation. Probation. They asked me if I could get a Sephora card when I was checking out. And they told me I would save like 10% if I got a Sephora card. So I just said yes. No, you can't just say yes. You need the approval of probation for any new line of credit. That includes a Sephora card. You must participate in an outpatient mental health treatment program approved by the United States Probation Office, and you must continue to take any prescribed medications unless otherwise instructed by a healthcare provider. That is not uncommon, but it generally goes to the defendant. We know that Jen Shah, in her sentencing memo, talked about mental health, and in statements given, talked about now being on medication and understanding that what she did was wrong. So I'm not surprised to see that in there. It's like what you're going to need to do is some therapy. But I mean, to all therapy's great. You will participate in an outpatient treatment approved by the probation office, which may include testing to determine whether you have reverted to the use of drugs or alcohol. You must contribute to the cost. You must pay. You must be in drug treatment or outpatient treatment, drug or alcohol treatment, and you must pay for it. You shall. Here's what I don't mind about these provisions. Yes, these provisions, this is a great question. These provisions are all once released. There is a lot of structure in custody. So there will be structure, there will be classes, there will be opportunities for therapy, for drug and alcohol treatment if she's accepted into the program. There are lots of opportunities for structure. These are taking that structure and imposing it once she is out. So once she is out, it is going to be a more structured environment. And some of that is going to be mental health treatment. Some of that is going to be drug and alcohol treatment. So some of this is going to be her dealing with structure when she gets out. And I think that's a good thing. Even if she has gone through a drug and alcohol program in custody and therapy in custody, this is a continuation of that, which I think is a necessary support, and it's being forced. So it's like, you don't have to. So that is not uncommon at all. And so some of you are saying, does this mean she's admitted to having a drug problem? I don't know if she's talked about narcotics. She's definitely talked about alcohol, and these things are used. Drug and alcohol is used together for those programs, and then they will determine what the issue is. They will determine if there's an issue, and they will determine if she needs it. But they will have structure around what her days look like. And again, if probation decides she doesn't need it, probation can say, okay, we're not requiring you to continue with this. Submit your person or property or vehicle or computer or any other electronic communication, data storage devices, cloud storage, anything to search at any time. Search is to be conducted when there is a reasonable suspicion concerning violation of a condition of supervised or unlawful supervision or unlawful conduct. Reasonable suspicion, not probable cause. A whiff of suspicion, a LaCroix flavoring of suspicion, just a skosh of suspicion. This doesn't rise to the level of normal search and seizures, which are probable cause. This is at a lower level. It's like, you don't have a job, all of a sudden you seem to have a lot of money. Well, that would actually probably rise to probable cause. But anyway, reasonable suspicion. I'm not going to give hypotheticals. If probation determines based on your criminal record, personal history, or characteristics that you pose a risk to another person, including an organization, the probation officer, with the prior approval of the court, may require you to notify that person about the risk. So you might have to tell someone, by the way, I'm at risk to you. You shall be supervised by the district of residence. You shall make installment payments towards your restitution in the amount of 15% of your gross income. This is where the job comes in. So you are going to be required to pay 15% of your gross income, whatever she makes. 15% is going to go to restitution. So let us continue. I saw, can she get out on good behavior? That's a little more complicated question in the federal system. Generally, no, it's around 85%, but there are some programs in court or in custody that will give you a benefit, will give you a discount of time if you complete the program. There's a drug and alcohol program that I believe you get almost a year off your sentence, but there is a substantial wait list and you have to be accepted. It means they are taking people who are in need of that program, not just people who want a reduced sentence. The reduced sentence is a benefit, but they are taking people who need that program, and she might not get accepted into it. So she could get reduced time for completing a program, and she can get a little bit of credit time, but not knocking it down below about that 85% if she is on good behavior. Jen is going to have to find it within herself to extinguish the hair trigger flip to her temper because that's not going to go well in custody. So, let's see. The defendant may pay the total criminal monetary penalties under the schedule. Assessment $100. Restitution $6.6 million. Restitution ordered $6.6 million. She's also jointly and severally liable for more. Let's see. Special instructions regarding payment of criminal monetary penalties. That's what I was looking for. While serving the term of Bureau of Prisons, BOP, not Department of Prisons. I was thinking DOP. All right. While serving a term of imprisonment, I was a state prosecutor, y'all. You shall make installment payments towards your obligation. While in prison, you shall be paying restitution. You may do so through the Bureau of Prisons Inmate Financial Responsibility Plan. What do you think that conversation's like when they try to tell Jen Shah what a budget is? After her living like this, treating money as if it was literally water, fruit essence or not. What do you think? Here's our inmate financial responsibility plan. You need to pay your restitution. Pursuant to the Bureau of Prisons policy, the Bureau of Prisons may establish a payment plan by evaluating your 6-month deposit history, money on your books, by looking at the money on your books and determining what to do with the money on your books, and subtracting an amount determined by the Bureau of Prisons to be used to maintain contact with family and friends. So look, they're not interested in how much ramen or beef sticks you can buy, both very popular. They are interested in, do you have enough money on your books to make phone calls, even though people can call you collect? Do you have enough money to send letters? But other than that, can we take money put on your books? So if people go and put large sums of money on her books, other inmates we've heard about trying to do this, R. Kelly comes to mind. If you try to put large amount of money on her books, the Bureau of Prisons can say, that's mine now, mine, and take it and apply it to your restitution. The remaining balance may be used to determine a repayment schedule. BOP staff shall help you develop a financial plan and shall monitor the progress in meeting your restitution obligation. Restitution is a huge part of this order. $6.5 million in U.S. currency, and then see the forfeiture order. Payments shall be applied in the following order: assessment, restitution, principal, restitution, interest, AVAA assessment, fine, principal, fine, interest, community restitution, and then the other assessments, penalties, costs, and fees. So the assessment from court, that $100 goes first, then the principal amount of restitution, then the interest on the restitution. That's the order things are getting paid in. So yes, that's the order things are getting paid in. So that is Jen Shah. We had one more thing to talk about. I think, let's see, you guys wanted to talk about Bryan Kohbergers, chatty attorney, crypto, zoo, Logan Paul, and the Morphe bankruptcy. I know I gave you a poll. Since the Morphe bankruptcy is fast, we're going to talk about it real quick to round out our quick bits, and then we'll get to the chatty Cathy attorney, and then we'll get to Logan Paul and crypto zoo getting sued. Oh, no, I reversed myself. I meant to show you some of this sentencing memo. It is not hugely unredacted. So I'm going to go through. I'm not going to do it while y'all are waiting to cover other stuff. I have the paper copy from something that I filmed. Actually, they printed it out, and I was like, oh, can I? If we're looking at this, can I take it? Because it's actually really helpful to go through the redacted paper copy of her sentencing memo instead of flipping back and forth from the original to the now. So this is the original sentencing memo that had like massive chunks of redaction. This is the new sentencing memo that still has redacted and still has very large chunks of information redacted. So I will go through and see if we find any actual information in here that is unredacted. Because so far on a quick swoop through this, I have not seen much that is unredacted. Y'all. Emily, what is this? The unredacted version. This is the unredacted version? This is the unredacted version. Unredacted. So what did Jen Shah add that was new? I'll show you. Let me not zoom and give everyone vertigo, because it gives me vertigo too. There were these exhibits for Exhibit B. that were photos. And those photos, some are now released to the photos are released to the public. The individuals in the photo that are not people that have been on Real Housewives are redacted out of the photos by literally putting a circle or a square over their face so that their identity is not known in the sentencing. And that's about it. So there's still a lot of redaction. I'm going to line by line it and talk about it more on Thursday because I'm interested, but it's going to take time for me to go back and forth and literally find like the sentence that's unredacted and highlight it. But the photos are the big thing for Exhibit B. All of Exhibit B was filed under seal. She put in a substantial amount of photos. I'm still going through Exhibit A. This thing's like almost 200 pages. And I'm almost at the end of Exhibit A. Could I have Control F'd myself? Yes. Did I not? Ugh. So exhibits, they list them all. Photographs of Jen's father, Jen's brother, Jen's brother, Jen's father, Jen's father, Jen's sister, Jen's husband, Jen's father, Jen's family. These are all the different photos that she put in and what they were doing and who they were. It's interesting to me, though, that when they redacted out the faces, they still left in all the names. So it's like, oh, okay. I think under the court's order, they probably could have redacted out the family's name, but okay. They didn't. Photograph of Jen and Jen's dog. These are photograph of Jen in traditional Tongan funeral attire. These are the the meme on this. The meme on this truly is going to be corporate wants you to see the difference between these two pictures. That is what it is. So these are photos that Jen submitted of Jen and her family to the court for the court to see, and they've listed every single one as a separate exhibit. And so it is a family photo album. This is more family photos than I've seen submitted in a sentencing. I have seen photos of victims, especially deceased victims, shown at sentencing, just so the court has an idea of who the person was that was lost. I have not quite seen this done like this for a defendant. So yes, they're for sympathy. They're for humanizing this person to the court. This is a lot. We'll get to the dog's photo, don't worry. Jen's super cute. Definitely super cute. So the court can see the full human wedding photos. I don't know if we've ever gotten a Jen Shah wedding photo, so I'm living for the wedding photo moment. I'm here for it. Okay, but I don't know if the judge cares about Jen Shah's wedding photos with Coach Shah. I think they're great. They're so young. Every time I look at me and my friends at our weddings, I'm like, we were babies. So Jen Shah, this is your life. Wait, is it Jen? This is Jen. This is Jen. Yeah, this is Jen. I'm sorry, but why are family photos in a court document? Because Jen Shah's attorneys gave them to the court. So there we are. I mean, I'm here for it. Look, the understated bouquet, the beautiful dress. I'm here for this version of Jen and Coach. This is a subtler version of Jen and Coach. Jen before the fraud. Her face definitely looks different. Yes, that is true. So these are photos of Jen and others in different events. So these were to humanize Jen and her family. So I'm just nosy. So Jen looks way more down to earth. Yes. She looks different. Yes, she does. She looks very different. Her kids are so cute though. It's a great photo. But the court, you know what the court's going to think? This is what I think a federal judge is going to think. This man is an attorney working in big law and then became a football coach making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Look at these sweet babies. You know what I think this judge is going to think? Why did you choose this though? Why did you do this though? Look at this beautiful family. I don't know if this works to her benefit or if this is like, and this is what you knew you were risking and you did it anyway. I think the court is not, I don't know if it helps. I think it makes the court more upset. I think it can make the court more angry. You have a beautiful family. You have a beautiful life. I'll start singing the Talking Heads. So anyway, Chuck E. Cheese, I have questions about the pizzas still. I can't get that video that I stumbled across on YouTube out of my brain. But just family photos. So family photos. Lovely family photos, but family photos. You can see the progression of time as Jen is looking more housewife Jen. So you can definitely see the progression of time. But I mean, just this is what a judge is thinking. Okay, you have everything going for you. So why fraud? Anyway, so this is photos and photos. Wait, everyone wants the photo of the dog. We need to get to the photo of the dog and then we're gone. Jen Shah and her family. I believe this at the end were going to be the funeral photos. So that, and they shared that to show her role in the family. Which, okay, that is her role in the family, but I don't know if that's going to help with the court. Doggo is not redacted. I don't know. Have we ever seen the dog on the show? It's a lot of photos. That is a big doggo. Grab his face. All right, and that's and this is Jen Shah's statement. So what did the court approve unredacting? I have more questions. What did the court approve unredacting? Because what have we learned today? Jen's wedding picture is beautiful and her dog's cute. He's a big dog. A big puppy. So that's what's unredacted. So if you want to know what's unredacted, mostly photos is what's unredacted. We need to move on to substantive stuff. Yes. So that's where we're at with Jen Shah and her unredacted sentencing memo. As I said, I will, because I have the paper copies. Thank you, ABC. Because I have the paper copies, I will be going through these line by line and seeing what's changed to let you know. And I will let you know on Thursday. The dog did not consent to this photo. This is not lawful law. I think the dog should sue for copyright. The dog's like, I am the best. Copyright. Let us move on. What did we say we were talking about next? Oh, we said we were talking about Morphe real quick. I promise in Emily Way that this will be quick. There's not a ton to cover. I promise. And then we were talking about Kohberger. Morphe first. A lot of you, do you love the swoop? The swoop has new colors. We zhuzhed the brand colors a little bit for 2023. Look, pretty. So I get distracted. Yeah, my car goes through tires like nobody's business. No one told me this. I didn't think it through. I bought my car, which I love. I bought my car to be a California girl. She was ready for California. California, you're in your car for an hour and a half and you drive like 15 miles. Tennessee, if you're in your car for an hour and a half, you've probably gone like 100 miles. You drive more. I wanted the really cool big rims. They're gorgeous. They're blacked out. They're large rims, low profile tires. What I didn't realize is because nobody tells you this, and I didn't think it through because I just go, ooh, pretty. My car has low profile tires. And so what I didn't realize is that between the Tennessee driving and the low profile tires, that I was going to need new tires like all the fucking time. So yesterday I was getting new tires and I was like, how am I dealing? Oh, how am I dealing constantly with new tires on this freaking Tesla right now? I'm just like, what is happening? So yesterday I spent half of my day dealing with new tires. For those of you that are like, is this in HeadSpot? No. Emily, would we let you do a car spot ever? No. I picked because I was like, ooh, pretty. And so when I'm talking about the zhuzhed swoosh, here's the thing. I got back out to my car and I was like, I love my rims, but God damn it, I will never buy low profile tires again. Why? Because the tread is gone in like 30,000 miles. And 30,000 miles happens a lot sooner driving around Tennessee than driving everywhere else. It just all the time. I drive so many more miles. I love driving my car, but like Starbucks is more than 10 miles away from my house. I love my low profile tires. I love my big rims. I love the blacked out chrome on my car. I love all of it. But I walked out yesterday and they replaced all the tires and they look great. My husband's like, "Oh, do you like your new tires?" I'm like, "How the fuck am I supposed to know if I like my new tire? They're quiet, they're fine." And yes, the Teslas are heavy as fuck, so they need specialty tires and they go through them faster. So I went out and this is where my mind goes, ooh, pretty. And one side of my car has my tires, and on the little like thingy where you put the on the little thingy where you put the air into the tires, that little thing that you put the cap on, no idea what the fuck it's called, but the little thingy. So it has a black cap that matched my black rims and my black tires. On the other side, they were gray. And I was like, gray, they're gray. Like I love gray for shoes. Like I love a dove gray for a coat, but I have black rims. I can't have the valve stem. Thank you. Yeah. I can't have them be gray so I walk back in, I'm like, "Hi. The new tires look great. Thank you for the new tires. You got them done so fast and that was so lovely and I really appreciate it." And the reason I went in is because I had a nail in my tire again because everything in my county is under construction because people are like, "Ooh, Middle Tennessee's great." It is, but also construction everywhere, nails and tires. So I went to go replace the nail in the tire and they're like, "Actually, what you really need is 4 new tires." And I'm like, "Fuck." So gray. So they're gray on the valve stem caps. And I'm just like, well, they need, I'm sorry, but they need to be black because the rims are black and they're low profile tires and they look pretty. And I need them to just look pretty. So thank you. And they were like, "Not a problem." And I was like, I just appreciate it. It visually is so distracting to me and I won't be able to get it out of my mind. Like it will stay in my mind and I don't even know where to go buy the little cappy things. And they're like, "Oh, not a problem at all." They just went out and swapped them out. They're like, "It just depends on the rims and the gray ones blend in with the silver rims and blah, blah, blah." So they just spun them back on and it took like literally 7 seconds. I was like, "It needed to match. Thank you." It just needed to match the rims. And they're like, "Right, that's why we have gray for the chrome rims." I'm like, "That makes so much sense." But I don't have chrome rims. So they also gave me the name of a person to fix the rims that in the Tennessee that doesn't have streetlights always. Maybe my first year of living here wasn't so compassionate to my rims and they look a little cheese grated in some spots. So now I'm going to also be able to get my rims fixed. So I'm so glad they came out. Like if it hadn't been for the gray little valve stem cap thingies, I wouldn't have even said, "Oh, by the way, do you guys know somebody that can fix the rims?" And they're like, "Yes, we got a guy for that." I'm like, "Great. I love it when you got a guy." So I'm very excited. So now I'm going to get my rims fixed. Might get the car rewrapped. I'm very excited. All right, so I like things to be pretty. They need to be a little bit aesthetic, so I'm very happy with the matchy swoosh, but that's not what we were talking about. I feel like we should swoosh again because we were going to talk about Morphe and Matchy. Morphe. A lot of you just pop a 1 in the chat if you found me and this channel talking about monuments to the gods of speculation back during the Toddy Westbrook lawsuits. We have talked beauty tube drama on this channel when it matches the law. You all know I watched Dramageddon 1 and Dramageddon 2 and Carmageddon go down. I didn't understand all of them. I'm like, wait, a photograph prompted this? I watched Peter Mon and Dustin Daly and Nick Schneider and everybody else to talk me through all of it. I watched all of the commentary channels to watch the beauty community go through its rise and fall. I watched Lipstick Gate happen. I've watched all of it happen. I have been on YouTube that long and I love it. So when Morphe filed for bankruptcy, a lot of you did the exact right thing and you were like, "Emily, Morphe filed for bankruptcy." Morphe filed for bankruptcy. Morphe through Forma Brands. I think it was Dustin Daly's recent video where he did the compilation of all the times Jaclyn Hill said Morphe, who was a heavy sponsor of or affiliate collaborator with Jaclyn Hill. The amount of money she probably made affiliate marketing Morphe is millions and millions and millions. Jaclyn Hill is a beauty influencer here on the platform. She released lipsticks. They were alleged to be hairy or moldy or both. There was a recall. It was a PR disaster. The whole thing was a fucking nightmare. There were like biologists and scientists with microscopes the going through the lipsticks. I was going through the amount of companies that Jaclyn Hill at the time had to figure out kind of who deals with Jaclyn Cosmetics. Jaclyn had said on a multitude of platforms that she owned it and didn't have any investors into it. And now that Forma Brands has filed for bankruptcy, and we kind of saw this coming because Forma Brands, the owner of Morphe, we knew that the stores were closing and we saw that the stores were closing. Dustin Daly started reporting this. I think Jen Loves talked about it 2 ages ago when Morphe was starting to get sued over their rent. They have a lot of mall makeup stores. I'm not surprised that they were starting to get sued over their rent because depending on the state you're in, there was like a year where people weren't going into the mall to buy makeup. And I think the way consumers purchase makeup shifted drastically in 2020, and we've shifted to a much different type of consumer culture around makeup. The days of these huge makeup launches where the mall is completely full of people waiting for the conspiracy palette with Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson, those days are gone. And now the mall's full waiting for Feastables and Beast Burger and Prime and whatever the fuck else. So Morphe was getting sued for not paying their rent, and that was covered by Dustin and others ages and ages ago. So we knew that there was some struggle there, and I understand malls are struggling anyway. So Morphe files, well, Morphe's parent company, Forma Brands, files for bankruptcy, and this is a Chapter 11 restructuring. We're going to go through kind of just the tip on this, not a ton, and look at some of the unsecured creditors. What Morphe is essentially, or Forma Brands, their company is saying is, hey, we need to restructure. What a Chapter 11 bankruptcy allows you to do is to get out of a lot of your existing contracts. We can't overlook the fact that Morphe had to also deal with influencer scandal after influencer scandal. They were heavily invested in James Charles. James Charles was driving sales to them. James Charles had a multitude of scandals. Same with Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star was heavily intertwined with Morphe. These huge launches of the conspiracy palettes and other things were driving people to Morphe stores. And then there were massive scandals with Jeffree Star, which are detailed across the internet. So you can go and look. But when the brand was so interwoven with these influencers, when the influencers got into scandal, the internet went to Morphe and was like, hey, girl, what are you doing about these influencers? Are you still selling makeup with them? You still doing collabs? You yeeting them out of your store? Like, what are you doing? Because we demand that you yeet them out of the store. And the consumer public was like, I can't support your brand if you're still supporting these things. So Morphe broke ties with some of their biggest influencers and never really recovered. And that happened as we were getting into a global shutdown where people are staying at home wearing masks and not leaving the house. I mean, who are you doing your makeup look for? Your Zoom call? I sure as fuck wasn't. So everything kind of had this it was like the housing market crash, right? It was like this huge overinflated interest, and then just the housing market crash of the beauty community. You can go watch the drama unfold across channels. It is well documented on the internet. So we have all of these influencer scandals that are heavily connected with the brand. Then we have a global shutdown where people aren't wearing makeup the same way, aren't leaving their house, and definitely aren't going to malls. We have a company that is not able to maintain its physical location stores and then closes all its stores and is now going into restructuring. So they are now going into restructuring. Did this get filed in Delaware? Yes. When I went digging through Jaclyn Cosmetics's corporate formations, they were all filed in Delaware, but in Delaware, you don't always have to say who owns the brand. So yes, there were some that were localized in Florida, but they were all Delaware companies. All of them were Delaware companies that were then also operating in Florida where Jaclyn Hill lives. So There were lots that were caught by surprise that Jacqueline Cosmetics is owned by Forma Brands. Lots had speculated, and Jacqueline's like, it's my brand, it's my brand, it's my brand. Well, it's your intellectual property, it's your name, but your brand is owned by Forma that's owned by Morphe. This isn't a problem when it's like a James Charles palette. And he's like, this is the James Charles X Morphe palette. Everyone knows it's them in collaboration. Jacqueline Hill, it seems to me from my best memory, and I'm open to being pointed other directions, but to the best of my memory was, this is my brand. I'm not bringing in investors, which no shade if you bring in investors, you might need to bring in investors. This is my brand. I own it. I am the owner of this brand, not I'm the CEO of this brand, not I'm the creative director of this brand, which you can do that. But I am the owner of this brand. But owning a brand means something different. And if you own a brand separate from this company, then your brand shouldn't need to file for bankruptcy at the same time. But no, Forma is restructuring. Voluntary petition for non-individuals filing for bankruptcy, District of Delaware, Forma Brands LLC. And then it lists through Chapter 11. Were prior bankruptcy cases filed? No. Are any bankruptcy cases pending or being filed by a business partner or affiliate of the debtor? Yes. Forma Brands debtor, see attached. We're going to go through the debtors in a minute. And then, does debtor owner have possession of any real property? No. Remember all those leases? Estimated number of creditors, 1 to 5,000. Estimated assets, 500 million to a billion. Estimated liabilities, 500 million to a billion. So these are debts and assets. And then they go through requests for relief. They are trying to restructure. Restructuring allows them to cancel all of their existing contracts and restructure their contracts. And truly, it's going to allow them to get out of all these leases that they're in, these leases in malls, and close all their stores and then restructure to be online only, in a way that they're not going to keep losing money and that they're not going to get sued by all these different malls and mall ownership companies. These are their other brands. So they are filing on behalf of all of these brands. So these brands are all filing for bankruptcy, pending bankruptcy cases filed by the debtor and affiliates of the debtor. FB Debt Financing Guarantor, Forma Brands, Morphe, which is under Forma, Forma Beauty Brands, Simo, Jacqueline Cosmetics Holdings, Such Good Everything, Playa Products, and Jacqueline Cosmetics LLC. So these are all brands that owe this. So I think Jen Love's review has already talked about this bankruptcy, I'm pretty sure. This was filed a number of days ago on the 12th. So after my last stream of last week, before my first stream of this week. So corporate ownership, FB Debt Financing Guarantor owns 100% of the shares. FB Debt Financing Guarantor, located there, owns 100% of the shares. And now we get into the creditors. This is the largest 50 creditors who have unsecured claims, not secured claims, unsecured claims. So this is people who don't go first in line if there are secured creditors, but we didn't see their listing of secured creditors yet, so we just don't know. So we've got Rapid Displays, we've got companies that look like they're like underlying production companies in Taiwan and in China, which is where a lot of things are created. So that's $11 million to Rapid Displays Inc., $3 million to these trade vendor companies, $2 million to this other one. And then we get to the influencers. James Dickinson, aka James Charles, $2.1 million owed. Do you see what that says though? Contingent. Indicate if claim is contingent, unliquidated, or disputed. Disputed. I wonder why. The claim from James Charles is disputed. Does Morphe believe that he violated? This is me. Look. I hit those both at once. I didn't mean to. Hold on. This is me speculating. With this claim being disputed, could it mean, yes. That Morphe believes there's a reason they don't owe James Charles $2.163 million, 2,163,157.74. Could this be because they're arguing that we don't owe him all of this money? Disputed means there is a question about what's owed. Was there a breach of contract somewhere with regard to James Charles? Could that breach of contract have been with regard to a, I don't know, morality clause, scandal clause? Could there be something that he didn't fulfill, not scandal related, like, hey, we had you on contract for this many things, you didn't fulfill it. So there is some dispute over the claims that Morphe owes James Charles over $2 million. So whatever is going on, they are going to have to resolve it. But they say, look, on our books, we owe this money, but we dispute that we owe this money and it's not done. So the money as to James Charles, aka James Dickinson, is disputed, which is interesting because as it comes to Jaclyn Hill, and these are business addresses, as it comes to Jaclyn Hill at over $2 million, they do not indicate that it's disputed. Those could be profits owed from Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics. Those could be affiliate revenues. We just don't know. But it's interesting to me that the money to James Charles is disputed. So there is something there with regard to whatever the contract was or whatever he owed or was supposed to do. It could be a non-disparagement clause. I don't know if James Charles has ever said anything about Morphe, truly, but it could be something as simple as that. But they are disputing the amount of money they owe him. So is James Charles going to get $2 million out of this bankruptcy? Maybe not. It's going to be litigated within this bankruptcy, which means this bankruptcy actually might have some tea in it. Intercost America, again, these are all trade vendors. This says contingent and disputed, which means I think some of these things are probably maybe due and owing or not distributed. We'll see what they say with regard to that. Beautydom Cosmetics, Ithaca Media Ventures, companies. I know that they also owe, it's in here somewhere, they also owe Jeffree Star some amount of money. Did I miss it? I might have missed it. There. Jeffree Star is owed contingent and disputed $1.4 million. So again, when it comes to Jeffree Star, this could be contingent on what? Were there more deliverables of Star Cosmetics that were, or Jeffree Star Cosmetics that were supposed to be sold through Morphe stores? Was it contingent on the amount that was sold and that wasn't sold? Were there clauses in his contract that were not fulfilled? So with contingent disputed, then we get to see if this money is ever paid out. But they're saying, yes, on the books, 1.4 million is owed to Jeffree Star, but we are not just saying we owe that. We're saying there's something else there, and we dispute that we owe all of that. So there is, whether this will be negotiated and settled at pennies on the dollar, I don't know. Whether this will be something that we see litigated through bankruptcy court, I don't know. Whether James Charles and Jeffree Star are like, leave me the fuck out of this, miss me with all of this, I don't give a shit, then maybe they've all moved on and they're like, I'm not even trying to get my money. I'm not even trying to get it. Like, just go restructure. What we're not going to see is the amount of litigation that we see in the Girardi Keese bankruptcy. This isn't a liquidation. This is a restructuring, so trying to break contracts. And when we get down later in this bankruptcy, a lot of these seem to be malls. And companies that own malls, and then other vendors that make the cosmetics, vendors that distribute the cosmetics. So those seem to be some of the biggest claims here with regard to that, because we've got like Water Tower joint venture. We've got one from King of Prussia Associates. These real property lease, 557,000. So trade vendor contract. So Space Brands Limited in the UK. And you can see what these different things are. Real property lease, claims and settlements with state of California, real property lease. So we can dig into what some of these things are a little bit more if you're interested. But a lot of these, again, are those real property leases from malls mostly, that they just couldn't afford and they were already getting sued over. So that's what's going on with Morphe. Mostly they're vendors and real property leases, and then a few influencers whose names you might know, and those are their contracts. So with that, it is time to move on. Water Tower and Michigan Ave have lost so many stores. A lot of people have. A lot of people have, and it's just malls are struggling, particularly post 2020. So they were struggling before that as online shopping rises, as people don't want to be online, or people want to be online and not in person, and that has doubled down and gotten worse. So it is a struggle, and we will see what happens. So with that, we're going to move on to the defense attorney that will literally not stop talking. So do they owe Jacqueline too? Yes, we already talked about that. It's not very long ago, but we talked about that. Yes, we did. Let us move on. So if you guys let me know in the comments and let me know down below if you're interested in diving into a little bit of these different claims more. It'll be interested to take a look at what the disputed claims are over if that gets litigated. So Rob, I would love to know your thoughts on the disputed claims in Delaware, but we'll see if those get litigated. All right. Let's move on to the defense attorney that will not stop talking and that Bryan Kohberger discovery request. I've gotten asked a lot about it and about it a lot. My nose is starting to get congested. So we're going to talk about that too. With Bryan Kohberger, the accused in the Idaho murder cases, he has been arraigned. His preliminary hearing has been put over till June of 2023. But what has been going on has been absolutely unprecedented and literally unlike anything I have ever seen. It is absolutely buck wild. But the first thing we need to talk about is this discovery request that has been making the rounds. And I don't have the full discovery request. I've seen photos of it on social media, but I have not called the clerk of court yet and gotten the documents, but I will. The discovery request included any statements of a co-defendant. With that, it's something that the defense has to request if it exists. These are not saying that they believe that it's there. The discovery request is literally the defense attorney CYAing everything possible. Literally everything possible. So, it really can't be read into, and that's where I get frustrated with the internet. Emily, do you get frustrated with the internet? Only sometimes. But it is a, a interesting thing when people are like, hey, there's this discovery request and it says all these things. A lot of it is boilerplate and template discovery requests. So let me see if I saved the tweet. Excuse the nose. Let me see if I saved the tweet that had it. No. Why wouldn't I have just done that? That would have been easier if I had done that. But it looks like I didn't. So I will have to go back through and search it. Oh, wait, I know where I can grab it. There it is. So we'll just grab it real quick. But these are our screenshots. I don't have the entirety of the source documents. These were posted on Twitter. They look to be true. They are posted by a true crime account called Rose at 901 Lulu. And so we are going to take a look at those real quick because, again, I got a lot of questions about them. This is a templated discovery request. Hey, we, the defense attorneys, this was January 10th, we have to request these things, like use it or lose it. So even if it doesn't exist, even if we don't think it exists, we have to ask for it and preserve our request. This is the defense preserving their rights. So it's really not much more of that. Statements of the defendant. Permit the defendant to inspect, copy, or photograph any relevant written or recorded statements made by the defendant. Does this mean the defendant made a statement? No. This means that they have to request it to preserve their request if there is any. Statements of co-defendant. Does this mean there's a co-defendant? No. Does it mean they have to make the request to cover their ass? Yes. Yes, it does. Defendant's prior record. Does this mean there is a prior record? No. Do you see where we're going with this? Does it mean they have to ask? Yes. So they are going to ask for everything, whether or not it exists, whether or not they believe it exists. So this is a template, essentially, boilerplate. We ask for this in every single case. whether it exists or not. So don't read into a discovery request saying, hey, give us these things if they exist. It doesn't mean any more than they're doing their job. This is the defense attorney doing their job. Judy, you got this, said preserving the rights of the defendant equals large part of the defense attorney's job. Yes. Yes, it is. So this is not surprising. Reports of examinations and tests, state witnesses, give us all this stuff. This is them, again, providing their rights. Expert witnesses, this has to be turned over, but they're citing the law. Look, this is where it needs to be turned over. Police reports, digital media recordings, search warrants, exculpatory evidence. The defense never wants to be in a position where they're like, the prosecution should have turned that over. And the court was like, yeah, you needed to request that specifically under the law, and you didn't request this like one little thing. So like, technically we don't have to give it to you. Why would you do that? Ask for all, give us everything. This is the give us everything report. And some of these things are required by law to be specifically spelled out, and they specifically spell them out. I imagine the defense turns over this discovery request in every single case they do. Give it all to us. So I'm not surprised by that at all. I don't think there's anything to be read into it. It doesn't mean there's a co-defendant. It doesn't mean he has a prior record. It means the defense is doing their job. So there's not much to be read into that. The internet sometimes forgets that the law things are the law things, and you need to do that. So let us Con said King of Prussia is a town's name. It has a massive mall. I've actually been to the King of Prussia Mall. I have family, East Coast family, that when we would go visit, my mom enjoys the mall. I don't always love a mall, but the King of Prussia Mall is fucking massive. So I have pleasant childhood memories. You can get me to a mall. I don't love malls because overhead lights, I almost always wear a hat if I'm in the mall. They can be very overstimulating, but I am a sucker for a soft pretzel. So sometimes you can get me. Emily, back to food. Yeah, now you can get me to a mall to play Pokemon Go, though. So there's that. We need to talk about this defense attorney who won't stop talking. I want to not talk about him because I feel like this is what he wants, but here we go. Bryan Kohbergers' attorney is still giving interviews and has apparently been. There are some that I'm sure I have not found, but I have found a multitude of other attorneys. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to go through them. We're going to go through the multitude of other attorneys, of other interviews, including this first one that comes from the Today Show on January 3rd.
January 3rd. He goes on the Today Show on January 3rd before the extradition hearing. What? Like, what? He was talking about this while he was still representing the defendant. This did not all happen after his representation. And by the way, when you're a lawyer, even though your representation ends, your duty to your client and your attorney-client privilege extends. But he talked to the Today Show while he was representing the defendant. How did we miss this? How did we miss this? I don't know. I was on a cruise.
That's how I missed it. I was on a cruise. But y'all, Vincent Van Gogh has thoughts. He was on the Today Show. So today.com video, Jason LaBar. This man, this is another one that stretches my limits of no name calling, because derogatory name calling is maybe different than some of the other things I want to say. But anyway, Jason LaBar, the public defender representing Bryan Kohberger, speaks out about the upcoming extradition hearing and how his client has reacted to the charges. No, God, no. Oh, God, no. No.
No. That's not how that works.
That's not how any of this works. No. how his client reacted to the charges while he is still representing his client. He's being very calm. He is very aware. He understands the proceedings. You only know that through your conversations with your client, which are privileged. I don't understand. I will say I like the choice of shirt and tie. We'll go with that. We'll say one positive, and that's going to be the end of that. Let me know if you can hear. I'm going to try to turn this up loud. And look, man. This makes me real uncomfortable.
LaBar, good morning to you. You have a busy day.
You have a busy day. You have an extradition hearing for your defendant charged with quadruple homicide. Busy fucking day is an understatement, Savannah, but I have no shade to give the media doing their job. The media's job is to ask questions. The lawyer's job is to say, I can't answer that. I refer you to our previous public statement, or to refer them to the media relations department.
Jason LaBar is the public defender representing Bryan Kohbergers.
We're not going to get through this well. Jason LaBar is the public defender representing Bryan Kohberger, actively representing.
At today's hearing, he has visited his
At today's hearing.
For representing Bryan
Wait.
LaBar is
representing at today's hearing. He goes on the Today Show the morning of the extradition hearing. Not even fucking after. Not even after the hearing, before the extradition hearing. Chat. Yeah. Chat. I hear you. You've asked for code red. I think the only option is to grant it. Code red granted. Emily, put your fucking gavel sound in your soundboard. Yeah, I know. I get reminded literally twice a week. I still haven't done it. My accounts have been asking me to update a password on my bank that I had to call to. It took me 3 weeks to do it because it took 30 minutes to call and get it changed. So sometimes these things get delayed, but yes, code red is granted. If you're flash sensitive, it gets flashy. The flashy stops when the music does. We are going to code red in 3, 2, 1. It might be DEFCON code red. Just for a minute. Because seriously, what's happening here? It's harder to do during the day. This has much more dramatic effect at night. Maybe tomorrow when we read the book, we'll do full DEFCON code red, but then it's going to be like after dark red, not like a DEFCON red. I'm going to try not to interrupt myself too much. But this was the morning of the hearing. I don't know how this didn't come to our attention then, but here we go.
the public defender representing Bryan Kohberger at today's hearing. He has visited his client 4 times since his arrest. Mr. LaBar, good morning to you. You have a busy day ahead of you. First of all, just quickly, what do you expect to happen today at the hearing?
First of all, just quickly, why the fuck are you talking to us about what your client said? I've visited 4 times. Oh, okay. So you visited your client 4 times. The chat was like, Natalie, lawyer chick is right. Clout is a disease. Good God.
I expect Bryan to be brought into courtroom 1, and he's likely to sign the extradition paperwork.
And
Does this need to be done? Do we need to be on the Today Show? This could have been handled by a media relations department. We will, or after the hearing. After the hearing, you can say, hey, there wasn't a gag order yet in this case, but after the hearing, you can say, hey, this is our statement. Savannah's an attorney, but she's also she's a journalist. She's going to ask the questions to get the answers. I couldn't do it. I would be terrible at this job. I'd be like, this makes me deeply uncomfortable. Stop talking and go away. I don't like gray zone.
You've visited with him several times. You've made a point to say you have not talked to him or tried to talk to him about the substance of the charges against him. What has his demeanor been like? What has his mood? What have you observed from those multiple interactions in the last few days?
Don't tell anyone
He's
this.
being very calm. He's very aware. He understands.
You just get arrested for quadruple homicide and you're getting extradited back to Idaho. It's a case that's in the media everywhere. What's your demeanor? Very calm. Very calm. Very calm. Very calm. No. He's not freaked out at all. It's almost as if he's saying he's at peace with it. I'm so deeply concerned. If I am his current defense attorney, I think my inclination would be to call bro up and be like, could you just stop though? You've done enough. Can these statements be used by the prosecution? Yes. He's made himself a witness to the case. This defense attorney has made himself a witness. Because if Bryan Kohbergers' attorney was like, he didn't know what he was doing. I'm sorry. He was calm. He was lucid. He knew exactly what was happening. Rob is hitting his screaming goat. Demeanor is privileged. Yes. All of it's privileged. All of this is privileged. All. And also, he's fine. Hey, he's good. He's calm. He's thinking clearly. Great. Okay.
As the proceedings, I did discuss with him what to expect in the upcoming days on his transport, as well as what to expect when he actually returns to Idaho and is likely in front of a magistrate.
I told him that's privileged. There is an outside possibility that this defendant has waived his privilege. I hope that he didn't, but there has never been a statement that this defendant waived his privilege. And because that would be an unusual circumstance, I am operating off of the understanding that Bryan Kohberger has not waived his privilege to allow this defense attorney to do a fucking media tour to talk about his demeanor and what was said between the two of them in these 4 visits leading up to his extradition. I have to assume the most reasonable answer is that if your client has waived that privilege, what I would expect to see from an attorney is my client has expressly allowed me to speak on just a few things. So my answers will be very narrow. I can't answer that. I've only been allowed to speak on a few things. But once privilege is waived, the attorney can't waive the privilege, though he seems to be doing it.
Transport.
I didn't go back further enough to my client said, because I was raging.
He's being very calm. He's very aware. He understands the proceedings. I did discuss with him what to expect in the upcoming days on his transport.
I told him.
As well as what to expect when he actually returns to Idaho and is likely in front of a magistrate or a judge there.
I recognize you're being careful because you're handling this procedural matter. You're not the person who will be defending him at trial, presumably.
Not careful enough.
But has he reacted to the charges at all? One can imagine being accused of something like this.
Don't answer this. Don't answer this. Also, I'm kind of living for Savannah's earring stack right now, like the curated ear. I got very distracted by Savannah's earrings. I don't watch the Today Show very much. I'm sorry. Morning. I watch a lot of YouTube. During the Amber Heard interview, I got very distracted by Savannah's earring stack too. I am here for it. Look, do we need another? Maybe. Sorry, I got very distracted. I'm so deeply uncomfortable that this man is talking about these things while he is representing this defendant ahead of this hearing. Before the extradition hearing, that my brain has distracted myself. I have like literally disassociated and I just want to shop for earrings. I can't I just want to buy earrings. I'm so uncomfortable.
this and saying, wait, where did this come from? Why are they coming after me? Have you seen any kind of that behavior from him?
Hey, counsel, was your client surprised that he was arrested for quadruple homicide in a horrific nationwide case? Was he surprised? Or was he just like, anticipated? Was he leaving the state of Idaho to go to Pennsylvania so he would not get arrested because, you know, he murdered people? You can't answer this. How can you answer this? Was he surprised that he was arrested? No. What? He didn't say that. He can't answer this. I don't think he's going to not answer this. What is he going to say? This is why we do first looks. I'm nervous.
It is a little out of character, he said. I mean, this is not him.
A little out of character? This is a little out of, it's only mildly out of character. He's now going to say what the defendant said to him. I'm going to back up and I'm going to let this speak and I'm going to just breathe through it. Like, I'm going to try to like remember like my woo-saw breathing or something. And I'm going to try to just breathe through what he says because, was your client shocked by his arrest for a brutal murder? He said this isn't him. What you can never say is, I said this to my client said this. This is maybe worse than the Bryan interview. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Oh God. Okay. Okay. Where's my fan? We need a fan. We have fuckery. I'm going to sit on my hands and listen to what this man has to say. I'm going to try, y'all. I'm going to try to shut the fuck up. I'm trying.
After me, have you seen any kind of that behavior from him?
It is a little out of character, he said. I mean, this is not him. He believes he's going to be exonerated. That's what he believes. Those were his words. So he's really been very easy to talk to, actually. And he's in a calm demeanor, like I stated.
What?
It's just a little out of character. This case isn't valid because client privilege was waived. No, the case is still valid. The defense attorney has lost the current defense attorney has lost a lot of options. This dude is closing the door to some options, but he also just said to the media in the middle of representation, my client said this. I don't know how we get here unless these things were said in open court, which this is before the hearing, so there was no open court before this. Unless they were said in a room full of people where there's no privilege, like the circumstances where the privilege would have to be waived, we don't know. But we've seen none of those circumstances. Explain to us how maybe I just need to send an email. How is this not all privilege? I have questions. Baker Media would like to know. A little out of character. This isn't him. It's a wee bit out of character. Quadruple homicide, a wee bit out of character. The chat is like, he's typically only a little murdering. I need to hear this statement again because I'm so fucking flabbergasted. That this is the answer to the question. That he not only says what his client says, but is like, it's a little out of character. Fuck.
That behavior.
Also, he seems to talk to all media, so why not shoot the shot?
Behavior from him.
It is a little out of character, he said. I mean, this is not him. He believes he's going to be exonerated. That's what he believes. Those were his words. So he's really been very easy to talk to, actually. And he's in a calm demeanor, like I stated.
He's very calm.
What about his family? The mother and father, the sister, they put out a statement. What do they say about the charges against him and
this is not privileged.
What they make of this in terms of the person that they know?
They don't believe it to be.
I have questions about the figurines in the background. Wait, can we zoom?
Bryan?
No, I can't zoom. is this his office? Is this a set? What is happening? I'm sorry. I
can't believe this. They're obviously
No.
Family. What does the family think?
They don't believe it to be Bryan. They can't believe this. They're obviously shocked. This is certainly completely out of character, the allegations, and really they're just trying to be supportive with the understanding these four families have suffered loss, so that they're sympathetic towards that, and that's why it should remain really private. And they don't want to try this case in the court of public opinion.
But you do.
Without knowing the facts and evidence. As of right now, they don't really want to comment on things.
What the parents said to him, I would not want to make any comments if I am this attorney. But that's me. What the parents said and how the parents are responding is fine. That is not privileged, but again, decorum. If the parents gave a statement, it would be like in their statement, they said this, and that's consistent with my experiences. Not much, but he seems to say that the parents are more shocked than Bryan Kohberger is. The parents are like, this is stunning. And he's like, that's a little out of character for the defendant. It's an odd juxtaposition. Oh, I hate this so much. We've got more to go.
His father drove him from Washington State
His father's
at the holidays
Kathy too.
back to Pennsylvania. I understand that was a plan that had been in the works for some time. They were also stopped by police a couple of times on the way, I think, for minor traffic violations. Do you believe that to be part of this larger investigation, or is that just a random coincidence?
There are no coincidences.
I believe it to be a random coincidence. I don't disbelieve that Bryan and Michael Kohberger would have made that story up. There's no reason. They have been fully cooperative when they did speak.
This is before the media knew about the stops. He, I believe, disclosed the multiple traffic stops to the media. The media didn't know about it before that.
Speak with police and authorities. I know there's some reports that there's no actual evidence that they were stopped in Indiana, but Mr. Kohberger, Michael, had definitely said that they were stopped twice in Indiana back to back.
All right.
So the dad says it. You're allowed for the dad to say it, but even then, maybe less information to the public is better.
Jason LaBar, I know it's a busy day before you. Thank you for being with us this morning. Appreciate it.
How does this decision get made? How does this decision get made? Hey, Mr. LaBar, the Today Show would like to talk to you before your hearing. How do we get to yes on that in a criminal case, in a capital criminal case, where somebody could be facing the death penalty? How do we get to yes versus we will release a statement if needed after the hearing, and that statement will be the defendant, as seen in court, the defendant has chosen to waive extradition and will be transported. The only statement we are giving at this time is that he looks forward to his exoneration. The defendant, it seems, agreed that that could be out in the public. I don't think that waives everything, but he did say, I'm going to put out a statement. And he said, okay, but I don't know if the defendant said, okay, I approve your statement, or okay, you're releasing a statement from me and now I'm waiving attorney-client privilege. Because I don't think a client, when the defense attorney says, I think we should put out a statement, and why are we doing that anyway? But when the defense attorney says, I think we should put out a statement, I don't think that the client is going to think that that waives privilege. It just makes me so uncomfortable, but we're not done. There's more. You know what? I think that the secret to YouTube is this. I learned this from Mr. Beast. Your audience likes to watch you be uncomfortable. Mr. Beast goes to, the Arctic to see if he'll get frostbite on his penis. Wait, that wasn't Mr. Beast. That was Prince Harry. No, Mr. Beast did not get frostbite on his penis. That was a book, not a video. Anyway, Mr. Beast went to Antarctica because, of course, the audience likes to see you be uncomfortable. This is me. This is as close as we get to you watching me be viscerally uncomfortable on fucking stream. I am so uncomfortable by this. As uncomfortable as I have been coming across the clips of Prince Harry's book about the Elizabeth Arden cream. If you know, deeply uncomfortable. This is making me uncomfortable. There's more. And we're going to go to the ones I haven't played yet, and then we'll go to the one I covered with Natalie Lawyer Chick to talk about it a little bit, because we're going to talk about it some more because some of you might not have seen that. So frostbite on the penis would be a hell of an ER story. It's an interesting thing. His father didn't drive him, he rode with it. That's true. That's true. Could this be a ploy to declare a mistrial? I don't think so, because the trial hasn't even happened yet. So if you give this information to the public, you just have to voir dire around it. Sorry. For those of you that are not following Prince Harry's memoir drama, there was a lot of oversharing. I haven't read it yet. I have seen lots of clips. I have seen people cover it. I now know things I wish I didn't know, and I can't undo it. All right. So this is a clip from, we're going to go directly to the YouTube channel, but this is from ABC 16 WNEP. This is a reporter who, it seems like, asked for an interview and got this dude on the phone. We're going to go to watch on YouTube because that's what we do.
Okay.
All right. Hold on. Pause. Oh, I can't read any of that. Hold on. Nope. Every defense attorney could be assessed. Obviously, there's circumstantial evidence that puts Mr. Kohberger closer than me, but I really don't want to comment on this. Is this the transcript? This looks like a bit of a transcript that's running. We have closed captioning on. I don't know what this is, and it's hard to read. Newswatch, did it surprise you if he did commit the crime? Did it surprise you that he would have left behind that leather knife? Oh, God. LaBar, I'll comment on that a little differently than what you want. I'm a defense attorney. Oh, this isn't gonna be good. I'm gonna react to the things he says, not the things on screen. And this is a 10-minute interview. We're gonna be here for a while. So no insults and name calling to Harry and Meghan. We're just talking about the Elizabeth Arden cream on his Todger. That's it. That's all. We're never here to instigate hate towards anyone. We're talking about a murderer. We don't need to derail with hate towards Harry and Meghan at all, or, well, an accused murderer. That is fair. That is the fair thing to say. That is the appropriate thing to say. He is innocent until proven guilty. But we are talking about murders and a defense attorney talking about all the things. And I derailed. Is the cream related to the frostbite? In the story, the cream is related to the frostbite. Okay. I like pop culture. I can't help it. It's in my blood. I'm so uncomfortable.
Okay, I'm recording. All right, so first question would be, during the time you represented Bryan Kohberger in Pennsylvania, did he reveal anything to you that the public or the police don't already know at this point?
I can't answer that. I'm going to pretend I'm doing the interview. Won't that be a fun form of commentary? Because of attorney-client privilege, I can't answer that question. But what we've previously released is that he looks forward to his exoneration.
When I spoke to Bryan about the case, I made it quite clear that I was only his attorney for the extradition proceeding. So we never spoke about any of the facts or circumstances surrounding the actual alleged crime itself.
Which still discloses the content of your conversation and still makes me uncomfortable.
Gotcha. So you're essentially just as much in the dark as the rest of us when it comes to any connection he might have had to these students or a possible motive if he did commit the crime.
Correct. I wanted to view the case objectively myself also. So I was working in the blind because I didn't have the affidavit of probable cause. So I wouldn't even be able to discuss anything with him, even if he relayed any information to me.
Gotcha.
This is the exact same lawyer. This is the same lawyer. There is only the one speaking, and it is the public defender who is the chief public defender, we have learned, from this area in Pennsylvania, who is talking to all of the media. Who is this interviewer? I don't know. This is from WNEP16, which seems to be an ABC affiliate.
So you said before that he helped you craft the statement that you made on his behalf after.
That discloses things the client said to you.
His arrest. What was his opinion on the statement? What did he want to make sure was said or was included?
I can't answer that.
I think the most important part was the exoneration part. He believed that he would be exonerated, which to me implicitly meant that he was innocent of the crimes, so that obviously there wouldn't be either enough evidence or he was going to be found innocent of the crimes.
Throughout your interaction,
or he thinks he did it. Let's just devil advocate this since you're just putting all of this on the street. Or he believes he was smarter than everybody. So he thinks he'll be exonerated because he thinks he did a really good job. This is before the defense attorney or the defendant knows what's in the probable cause affidavit. So this is all made with hubris prior to the probable cause affidavit. So these statements might very well also be made with, I'm calm because I'm not worried, because they got nothing, because I'm clever. Hubris. Okay. Okay. Let's just keep going. The date of this, by the way, this was 5 days ago, on January 12th. So this is during the tour of this defense attorney.
interactions with him, how would you describe his demeanor?
I wouldn't. That's privileged, and I don't want to put his future defense attorney at a disadvantage by describing him as intelligent and calm. I like the green cup, though.
When I was speaking with Mr. Kohberger, he was very calm. He was aware of the serious nature of what was going on. He was easy to talk to. I've said multiple times that he's very intelligent, which might make it easier for me to have a conversation with him. And really, he was just...
His defense attorney's like, great, thanks. There's only, you're limiting the things his current defense attorney can proffer at trial. Stop it.
Really candid about the situation as far as the extradition was concerned, so it wasn't difficult to talk to him about the extradition at all.
You said that he was very calm. Did it surprise?
That's not what I meant. Allie McKenzie, I'm confused on how this is okay. We're all in that boat. I was talking to I've talked to multiple other attorneys about this, and I'm like, am I missing something? Like, have I slipped into an alternate parallel universe of like Idiocracy where I should be wearing like a race shirt sponsored like with stuff? Have I slipped into a parallel universe where the rules of law have changed and I am not aware? Because I don't know how any of this is okay. I still don't. I don't. Unless there's information that we are not privy to, but that information has not been made clear and no one has asked. Somebody ask. Has your client waived attorney-client privilege so that you can speak this openly to the media? If I was the current defense attorney and I had questions about that, would I file a complaint with the bar? Yes. Would I ask the court in Idaho to reach out to the court in Pennsylvania to get a gag order? Possibly. But also, would I have enough respect for my colleagues to not put them in a more difficult position by talking to the media nonstop? Yes. Yes. You owe a duty to your client, not to yourself. He's making me feel very protective of Bryan Kohberger, which is weird. It's a weird position to be in. But every client deserves good, ethical representation. And I have a lot of questions about how we're talking about what the attorney said.
Surprised you at all that he wasn't more visibly upset or agitated?
Not at the time. I really didn't.
I need to rewind this. Let's talk about his demeanor some more so that they can never argue that he is stunned by this arrest and he is shocked and he didn't understand, because this guy's now a witness.
With Mr. Kohberger, he was very calm. He was aware of the serious nature of what was going on. He was easy to talk to. I've said multiple times that he's very intelligent, which might make it easier for me to have a conversation with him. And really, he was just really candid about the situation.
He was really candid
as far as the extradition was concerned, so it wasn't difficult to talk to him about the extradition at all.
You said that he was very calm. Did it surprise you at all that he wasn't more visibly upset or agitated
at being arrested for 4 counts of murder?
Not at the time. I really didn't take anything of it. I mean, I've done this for a long time, and every defendant reacts differently with these types of charges. I mean, he was shocked by the arrest, were his words. So
he's directly quoting his client, because this is not what he said in the Today Show. We now have multiple different statements. He was shocked by the arrest versus he was a little out of character. This is like not even 10 days after the Today Show when he said something completely different. Sir, this is why you don't give multiple statements, because now we can hold them up against each other and be like, well, what was it? Was he shocked? Was he calm? Was he not surprised? Was it just a little smidge out of character? Was it a LaCroix out of character for him? Just a skosh? It's a new form of measurement that we're going to start using on this channel. It's a LaCroix amount of shock. It's just a smattering of flavor. Waterloo I find much more flavorful, so maybe we just need to run the spectrum of fizzy waters that I love so much, from a like LaCroix to like Waterloo, like to like straight up just juice. And then I just need to start going to straight whiskey, because what in the fuck is happening?
I was probably just as shocked as he was that he was found in Monroe County.
Definitely. You were probably...
I was just as shocked as he was that he was found in Monroe County. Sir? Prosecutor brain. Is he then surprised that he was arrested for quadruple homicide and potentially faces the death penalty and is being extradited back to Idaho? Or is he surprised that they found him? Because now we're getting to the, maybe he's just surprised that they found him. Okay. I'm going to back up his full statement because I interrupted 3 times and I want to hear the whole thing. So LaCroix tastes like static. That's why it's on our measuring scale. He was shocked he was found. Yikes. Okay. I'm screaming so loud into the void. You and Vincent Van Gogh. Rob is like, nothing about this is okay. This is worse. This might be worse than the interview with Brian Enton. Not worse in that it's a bad interview. I think when this reporter is like, hey, the defense attorney is available to talk to you. Can you prop up your computer in your kitchen and take the call? What you say as a reporter is yes. Brian Enton was in the car with the focus on the cars behind him when he took that call. So no shade to the reporter. This isn't a bad interview. This is things this defense attorney should not be saying. That's what I mean by this is worse. More things have been said.
Did it surprise you at all that he wasn't more visibly upset or agitated?
Not at the time. I really didn't take anything of it. I mean, I've done this for a long time, and every defendant reacts differently with these types of charges. I mean, he was shocked by the arrest, were his words. So, I mean, it didn't surprise me. I was probably just as shocked as he was that he was found in Monroe County.
Definitely.
I think it categorizes, this is how, and if I'm reading into it, I am, but it seems like he's saying he's shocked he was found in Monroe County, not that he was shocked that he was arrested for quadruple homicide. Lou, can reporters get in trouble for interviewing lawyers like this? No, they're doing their job. Their job is to ask the questions. The lawyer's job is to know what they can and cannot answer. It's when I'm covering cases, if lawyers want to talk to me, I am generally I'm always more comfortable talking to lawyers because lawyers know what they can and cannot disclose. It's why I don't want to talk to the parties involved in lawsuits, and I don't want to talk to the parties involved in litigation. I want to hear what the attorneys have to say. The attorneys know what they can and can't say, and I trust the attorneys to know their ethical duties and to tell me what they can and what they can't disclose. So the reporters, Their job is to shoot your shot, like come in like a wrecking ball, ask all the fucking questions. It's the lawyer's job to say, can't answer that. You saw the press conferences with the police. The officers were basically like, nice try. Next question. They didn't say that. That's me summarizing, but they were like, I can't answer that one. That will be forthcoming. I can't comment on that. It's an active investigation. They know what they can and can't answer. This dude is just like, yeah, we were all just shocked he was found in Pennsylvania. Chatty Cathy. Lawyers like to talk, but man, oh man, oh man. Rebel Girl said, as a former reporter and current producer, this is gold. Yes, great for them, bad for the lawyer. And the media doesn't care if it's bad for the lawyer, nor should they. That's not his job. Wonder how many years he's practiced law? A lot. A lot. I think as many, if not more than me, at least 17 years. He is the head. He's the chief public defender in his area. Kizzy said, I would never hire this lawyer. You would never have the choice. He gets assigned to you. And as the chief public defender, he's probably not taking a ton of cases. It depends on the jurisdiction, how many lawyers they have. He's probably not taking as many, but this is odd. Let's keep going.
You were probably not expecting this to come your way.
I definitely, after I was following the case, I did not expect Mr. Kohberger to end up in Monroe County and be an alleged suspect.
And I'm thrilled that he's here. It was so nice to sit down with Savannah on the Today Show. They were lovely.
So the evidence presented in the affidavit basically is the DNA, the car, the cell phone pings, and the physical description given by one of the surviving roommates. If you were representing him in this murder trial, what would your strategy be? Do you think that the police have an airtight case, or do you think you'd be able to poke holes in any of that?
It's a probable cause declaration. It's okay.
Well, it's obviously going to be Attorney Taylor's job to poke holes in that. Looking at it objectively, this is.
How about we make it easier for Attorney Taylor to do her job by not going on a press tour and becoming a witness in your own case? Then again, I'm a former prosecutor. Go ahead, man. Fuck it all up. Be like, no, he wasn't surprised he was arrested for quadruple homicide. He was just surprised they found him in Pennsylvania, because that's the line of argument I'm going with as a district attorney. Not surprised he was arrested. Surprised they found him. Thank you for giving us that gold nugget. Subpoenas all the way around.
It's just the infancy of the case, and all we have is still the affidavit of probable cause. But from what you mentioned, if you individually look at each piece of evidence, there's holes as to each piece of evidence that's in the affidavit of probable cause.
It's probable cause.
I've stated before that it's a strong circumstantial case, but with...
Would you ever? I can't imagine a defense attorney saying to the media, yeah, they have a really strong circumstantial case against my client based on the probable cause declaration alone. Wow. Because didn't he say, my brain is trying to catch up. Didn't he say, we don't want to try this case in the court of public opinion? Because what he's doing in the court of public opinion is saying, yeah, I owe a duty to this person. I represented him, but y'all, that case against him is strong. Bro's kind of fucked. What are you doing? He's said it in multiple interviews. Oh my God. You guys are like, is this a real lawyer? Is he playing one on TV? One on TV would be written better. The writers wouldn't do this. This is hard to watch. I'm uncomfortable too.
A lot of those holes. If you look at the sheath that was left at the scene that contained or had
commenting on evidence,
Bryan's DNA on it, that's touch transfer DNA.
You're assuming there's not also blood on it, though. You're assuming that. That's an assumption. You're assuming. You're assuming that that's touch transfer DNA. You don't know. It could be skin. Because it is a button. There could be. I'm not going to go into it. We don't want to teach people to crime better. There could be other things on that than just touch transfer DNA.
It's not blood DNA that we're aware of.
Because it's a probable cause declaration. They don't tell you everything, but it could be.
And we don't know if there's more blood DNA around the corner. But as far as the touch transfer DNA, that just means that he touched that object and it could have went undisturbed for a long period of time. Experts would tell you if it goes undisturbed, it could be forever that you would be able to.
And if it was undisturbed and somebody grabbed it and took it there, then you would generally get, I don't know, other DNA on it too.
Recover his touch DNA. We talk about the identification on scene made by DM.
No, it was not an identification of the defendant on scene. It was a description of the individual that was in the house. It was not an ID. That surviving roommate did not say Bryan Kohberger was in the house. That was a description. It wasn't as if someone you knew ran up to you on the street and you're like, oh, Bob ran up to me. I know Bob. This is how long I've known Bob. I saw Bob. That's an identification or a lineup. Hey, I was robbed. Hey, that person did it. I saw them. That's an identification. This is a description.
I classified it as shaky at best. It certainly isn't 100% Mr. Kohberger. And quite frankly, I think Attorney Taylor will make that identification almost unusable for the Commonwealth. It's
a bold statement.
On my experience, due to the circumstances surrounding both the ID and the aftermath of the ID.
The circumstance surrounding the ID is that there is also a knife sheath with DNA and the car and the cell phone. But okay, go off.
As far as the car being in the vehicle, again, I don't know of any direct evidence.
I think he said the car in the vicinity.
Bryan's car, or that he was driving the vehicle.
Okay, he exhibits dominion and control over the car, but whatever.
Using circumstantial evidence and using strong circumstantial evidence to say that it was his vehicle at this time. But that all goes back to the cell phone tower pings, which are very unreliable.
They're not. They're broad.
Testify that that cell phone tower ping, you're just within a radius of the tower that it pings off of.
Don't worry, sir. They're going to make sure that they also have GPS now. This was just the probable cause declaration. So.
And that radius could be up to 20 miles wide. Obviously, as the crow flies, I think Bryan was approximately 8 miles away from the University of Idaho, where the crime was allegedly committed. So at any moment in time, any day, he could ping off of a tower that would put him within that radius. So certainly there's circumstantial evidence when grouped together. It seems like it's...
That's how you build a case.
But at this point in time, there's obvious holes and holes that the prosecutor...
That's a literal case. Circumstantial evidence put together are literally the puzzle pieces of a case.
Can close. I want to make that clear, but looking objectively at it, I mean, right now it's a strong circumstantial case, but it has certain holes that a very competent defense attorney like Attorney Taylor is going to make those holes big, and they'll remain big, in my opinion, until closed.
So this question I just asked because of your knowledge and your background, there's a lot of questions and speculation surrounding the surviving roommate.
Surrounding how the fuck are you saying everything that you're saying?
And why she might not have called the police for several hours. But all that's laid out in the affidavit is the reasons why they arrested Bryan Kohberger specifically. So
correct.
Is it fair to say there might be more information that the police are aware of that
there's necessarily a fuck ton more
at this moment?
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be more that comes out.
No shit.
We're not privy to the entire cell phone dump, nor will we be, of all 4 victims as well as Mr. Kohberger.
You won't be. That's for certain.
There could be a link between that's established between them? I don't know. There also could be DNA evidence now, as the Pennsylvania State Police executed a search warrant on Mr. Kohberger when he was in their custody. So that's also very important. There could be blood DNA that's linked to the crime. You also have that really speculation about the van's footprint that was found at the scene. I know there's been video, and I watched the video too, of the police coming to the party, or one of the parties, where there was a noise complaint where the person who answered the door had a pair of Vans on. So really, there's a lot of work to do.
Yeah, but there's some distinctions that can be made with the Vans shoes, but the Vans shoes are an added piece. They're not the whole piece.
I'm not saying the Commonwealth doesn't have more evidence that they're not sharing with us at this time.
Of course they do.
But my whole intention and my whole representation.
I want to know what the intention is. Can we get back to that? Not your representation of your client, which I don't know how you're talking about right now. Not what you said to your client, not what your client said to you. What is your intention? What are we getting at?
Of Mr. Kohberger was to make sure that he gets a fair trial. And the only way to get a fair trial is to look at everything objectively and really wait until the evidence comes out at trial, because that's what an individual who's has that presumption of innocence is entitled.
2 more questions.
Great.
Did it surprise you, if he did commit the crime, did it surprise you that he would have left behind that leather sheath?
Shoot your
with
shot.
his DNA on it, knowing that he is a criminology student?
I'll comment on that a little differently.
Wait, you're going to comment on it anyway. You're not, you can't, what? If he did do it, okay.
Than what you want. But I mean, I'm a defense attorney. I know, or I should know, a lot about how police do investigations.
You should know a lot about ethics and your attorney-client privilege too, but we have questions. We have questions. Why are you talking? I can't answer that question. Thanks, Sarah. I don't know if her name's Sarah, but you know what I mean.
I probably know more than Mr. Kohberger on how they do police investigations.
One would hope that you're more familiar with the criminal justice system than your client.
So to say that simply because he studied in criminology, and that makes it, a reason as to why he's a suspect. Every defense attorney could also be a suspect. Obviously, there's circumstantial evidence that puts Mr. Kohberger closer than me.
What?
But I really don't want to comment on why the sheet may or may not have been left, because I can't really say why it was.
Right, that makes sense. Last question is probably the hardest, and if you don't want to answer it,
do you think he did it?
Obviously, Mr. Kohberger enjoys the presumption of innocence, but after meeting him, after reading the affidavit, do you think he's guilty?
Fuck.
I don't judge cases like that. I look and wait until all of the evidence is brought out and testified to at trial. I know that sounds like a defense attorney can't.
No, that's most attorneys. Most attorneys are like, seems like a strong case, seems like not a strong case. Legal analysts, me included, look at it and say, hey, there's stuff we don't know. We're going to have to wait to know at trial. Stuff can look good for a jury. Stuff could not look good for a jury. A jury might like this. They might not like that. We don't know. But also, you could just not answer and say, I can't answer that. I'm not going to, do I think he did it? I'm not even thinking about whether I think he did it or not. I can't answer that. Even though he's not my client after he's been extradited because he's now Attorney Taylor's client, I still owe him a duty because he was my client.
And speech, but really I can't comment until I know.
Holy shit! Holy shit! Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he said? Go back, Emily. Go back. Go back. It happened. He knows the words. He knows the words. He knows the words. Listen. He knows the words.
Trial. I know that sounds like a defense attorney can speech, but really I can't comment until I know all of the evidence against Mr. Kohberger, and nor would I want to comment because, again, he does have that presumption in it.
I can't comment. He knows how to say the words. He knows how to say the words, I can't comment. And yet you continue to choose to.
And you really, the evidence doesn't come fully out until actual trial. I mean, certainly I anticipate tomorrow we're going to learn additional facts that are contained outside the affidavit of probable cause. So I'm anticipating that for tomorrow.
Yeah, that is absolutely fair enough. That is everything.
I can't guarantee. There's no guarantees in this life. But if something doesn't intervene, this dude's going to be everywhere after a preliminary hearing in June. If something doesn't intervene to stop him, this dude is going to be on every show he can be on after this preliminary hearing in June.
Everything I wanted to ask.
Great.
Anything else that you feel is important to get out there?
No, I've said it over and over and over.
Yeah, you have. Everywhere.
Really, the news media needs to be objective when they're talking about the case in general.
Are you going to lecture the media?
Obviously, we're not privy. No one's privy to all of the evidence in the case. And Mr. Kohberger is entitled to a fair trial of his peers. And in order to do that, everyone must presume him innocent until they hear all of the evidence. And he's presumed innocent until proven otherwise.
Yep.
I just really want to stress that. As these cases become more in social media, on the internet, and people like to do their own sleuthing, it's important not to jump to any type of conclusions.
Don't jump to conclusions. This is the same attorney that said that he thought people were too free to speak on social media. He's not a big fan of social media. He's not on social media because people just say things on social media. He's felt very free to give quite a lot of interviews.
And raise any biases about the evidence.
Yeah.
That was wild. So you can hear her at the beginning say, I'm recording. He's obviously clear that this is what they're doing. So this is from WNEP 16 ABC. I'm not sure where this channel is local to, but the comments. Yeah, what happened to client attorney privilege? I think Jason might be in a bit of trouble. I think the families need answers, but the defendant has the right to due process. Did Bryan okay his attorney saying what was said between them? Here's a hint. If you ever end up in court, do not hire an idiot like this. Not legal advice. I'm reading comments in the comment section. As much as I want justice for the victims, this crap from LaBar makes my blood boil. Jason LaBar should be disbarred. That's the comment section. Look, you guys don't need to go troll the comment section. We can just put the comments here. He definitely wants to have conversations. WNEP is Northeast Pennsylvania, Scranton, local for him and the Poconos. Okay, so Emily, how long is the responsibility to keep the client's privilege? All. Even if the client is dead. All. Unless the client waives it. Unless the client waives it. So it doesn't matter if he no longer represents him. You don't talk about Bruno. But he commented already. Yes, this man keeps commenting. I don't know why. I don't know how. Question, quoting a therapist, can you hear what you're saying? This guy. I mean, this is wild. So anyway, this is the this is the third. I have another one. And I haven't even gotten to the Dateline or Deadline or whatever he was on. But he also talked to Law and Crime, but I did that with Natalie Lawyer Chicks, so you guys can go over and watch it on Natalie Lawyer Chicks channel. We talked about it. It was, how long is this other interview? Because we've got more to talk about today. We've got another lawsuit. This is another 11-minute interview with him, wherein he says a lot of the same things. So I'm going to answer some questions, and then we're going to get into our next topic and then answer some more questions. So, you know, we love Scranton. Question, first Dunder Mifflin in the office. Maybe he is their lawyer. Maybe this is Law Mike. Maybe it is. Maybe Jason LaBar is just really Michael Scott pretending to be a lawyer. Maybe that's what's happened. We have, in fact, slipped into an alternate reality, and Prison Mike has become Law Mike, and here we are. So I'm going to answer a few questions because I know there's a lot of questions about this. And then we will get on to talking about Attorney Tom suing Logan Paul over Crypto Zoo because it's ridiculous. Isabel, are you covering Amber Heard's new lawsuit? Just pondering about a case that never ends. I will be talking about her answer in the insurance litigation on Thursday. We had a lot to cover today, some of it more timely, but this is an answer that we've already covered. So this is an amended answer. I could actually go find, where did I talk about it? Let's go to my own YouTube channel and see, because I talked about this is an amended answer. So it's not like new. It is new adjacent. It's new-ish. It's new light. So let me go look for the stream where I talked about it, because I talked about it after. Let's see. We talked about Amber Heard can't be sued 2 months ago because she was stateless, and then she found her state and sued her. Let's see. This was the settlement. This was the reply. So the reply and countersuit would have been here a month ago on this live stream. So if you want, let me pop that in the chat. So it would have been on that live stream that I talked about the first one. So this is an amended where between her and her insurance company. By the way, we binged at 679, you guys. We're going for it. And well, I said very positive things about Legal Eagle and how he shouted out Hoeg. I'm still coming for being a 1 million subscriber law channel. There aren't very many on the YouTubes, and I am coming for it. We're doing that this year. It's going to be a thing. Emily, do you have any control over it? No, I don't. So with Amber Heard, the answer where she says she is suing her insurance company, she is countersuing them inside of the insurance lawsuit. That is a second lawsuit. New lawsuit announced today. I haven't seen a new lawsuit announced today, but when we get to Q&A, I will go look. So what I have seen is the countersuit. That was her answer and countersuit were filed about a month ago. This is an amended answer and countersuit in the insurance litigation suit. She was stateless and homeless, but at least not toothless. For those of you that have not seen Beverly Hills Real Housewives of the Homeless Not Toothless, doesn't make sense, but yes, that's perfect. So burning question, pun very much intended. Did Prince Harry use Amica cream? I think it was just the Elizabeth Arden cream, but somebody should have told him to use Amica cream. Somebody should have told him to use Amica cream. So, oh my God, I watched an old Friday Night Live you did with your husband. I'm 42, married my husband, Bryan, 54022, 2 boys, 19 and 17, until bonus girl, 7 years old. That's incredible. Emily, I've never been happier to be a member. I mean, the members are either going to love it or hate it tomorrow night. You should do a stream on Hoeg's channel updating Ian and Rob on all the Girardi lawsuits. We will ask. That is up to Hoeg and Miss Hoeg. It can throw off the algorithm a little. It's whatever they want to do. I never want to push. My personality on occasion can be overbearing. And I never want to push, so I'm very overly mindful. Emily, is there baggage you carry from childhood? Yes. So I don't want to be overbearing. I don't want my will to override. So I will wait until I am asked. Emily, did you curse in court? Yes. When someone else cursed in court. So if I was questioning a witness and they were like, and then he said, blah, blah, blah. I would look at the witness and be like, is that exactly what they said? Well, no. Okay, can you tell me exactly what they said? And they would look to the judge and be like, can I say what they said? And the judge would say, we've heard everything. Say what they said. And so the witness would be like, and then they said, I'm going to do this, this, and that, motherfucker. And I would be like, so after they said, I'm going to do this, this, and that, motherfucker, then what did you do? So only in the form of repeating a question or asking a question or clarifying a question. So when it came up, yes, I turned into Ben Rottenborn going, so when you said, I have other uses for your throat, you could see Ben Rottenborn's relish in reading those text messages. He enjoyed it. You could tell. He was very fluently and comfortably dropping the "see you next Tuesday" word, which is one of the absolute no-no words on YouTube. But is it just YouTube US? Because I feel like maybe that's rude to the Australians and the Brits. Like, it's kind of rude that the "see you next Tuesday" word is the absolute hard stop when that word is not nearly as offensive depending on which country you're in. But anyway, did I drop the word country there on purpose? Yes. So anyway, you could see the relish in Ben Rottenborn's face where he got to read all the salacious text messages and reading it again and again and again. So maybe I was sometimes that person where it was like, and after you said, "Oh, fuck, you shot me," then what? I would sometimes repeat that just because you can. And sometimes it's a dramatic effect. And sometimes you just need to make sure you heard it right. Did I read that right? It's like, did I hear that right? So did I curse in court? Not organically. Even when I fell on the defendant, I did not curse organically in court. I was very much more restrained. If Bryan Kohberger is not guilty, can he sue for defamation? Only if people called him things that aren't true. If people say he's been accused of this, he's alleged of doing this, those things, then generally no. But I think there is Kyle Rittenhouse defamation suits I've heard rumblings of. I don't know if those have been filed, of people who, even after he was found innocent, called him things that would fall under the defamation per se. I don't know if I'm going to cover that. It's a lot. But if he is acquitted and then called names, I think it would be easier to sue for defamation. But at this point, the news is reporting on the fact that he's been arrested for this thing. I think it gets dicey if people start saying he is a this or that or the other thing. He's been accused of these things. He's been arrested of these things. He is presumed innocent until proven otherwise. So how many trial days is the Murdaugh case? The Murdaugh, and I'm trying to train my brain to say Murdaugh, not Murdaugh, but in my brain, it's spelled Murdaugh, but it's pronounced Murdaugh. It looks like it's going to be about 3 weeks. So you got a lot of me every day. LaCroix suspicion dying, that's hysterical. I think we're between LaCroix and Waterloo. like on a spectrum of LaCroix, Waterloo, and the actual fruit. We're somewhere in there. The actual fruit being the beyond a reasonable doubt. The LaCroix being a skosh. Shah, excuse me, Your Honor, what's a lawful type of employment? Not teasing, just don't really know. Being on Real Housewife. We talked about Morphe, Rob. Hopefully you're all in the loop now. You're like, Rob heard bankruptcy, and he's like, what's a Morphe? Emily, I emailed you a label for your Beaver Moon product. Fabulous. I tagged you on Twitter. I'll go look. Yeah, I was not on Twitter at all over the holidays. I will go find it. Because Beaver Moon. I would trust Lionel Hurts from The Simpsons more. It's wild. But he grabbed this case for himself. I don't know. This defense attorney might have been assigned it because he is the chief public defender in his locality. And it was like, this is high profile, but he might have grabbed it. He might have political aspirations. He might want to be on the national stage. He might want his name known. You just don't do it at the expense of your defendant. You can talk about other things and not say my defendant said this. Can we please get a Vincent Van Gogh V-neck tee? We'll see. We'll see about Vincent Van Gogh. Apparently we need a Cursey word pillow. I mean, apparently we do. Could this get him in trouble with the bar? I have questions. I have real questions. You need a Cursey word pillow to stick. A pillow to stick my face in and scream. The area of Pennsylvania this lawyer isn't that secluded. He should know. I mean, even this is one of the basic things though. It's like the Girardi fuckery. There are some things in law that you don't do. Disclosing what you said to a client, disclosing what your client said to you is at the top. Not fucking with your client's money is also at the top. And depending on the jurisdiction, also not fucking your client. These are basics. And I say depending on jurisdiction because truly it does depend on jurisdiction. Some are a little bit more flexible on adult relationships, consenting, of course. But this is at the top. This is at the top of what is it? We think you broke, Emily, I think you broke Rob. I did not break Rob. I guarantee it was that defense attorney's verbal vomit that broke Rob. The "see you next Tuesday" word is a term of endearment here in Scotland, which is why it's so weird that it is so banned for YouTube. We did. I don't know when we banged. I think it was yesterday. Is it possible that LaBar is trying to frame Kohberger? He's inserting himself in a weird way. I don't I don't think so. I really think he just, I don't know, man. I think he doesn't know when to stop. And maybe when the Today Show calls, I don't know that feeling. Maybe when the Today Show calls, it's just like, you gotta say yes. You don't though. But also it's hard for me because I know how I responded to media requests when I was a district attorney, and it was a very different response. My response when I was a district attorney was, we have a media relations department. Their phone number is this. Goodbye. I didn't want to be on the cusp. I didn't want to be in the gray zone. I didn't want to talk about any of it. I didn't want to talk about my cases. I didn't want to accidentally say the wrong thing. I didn't want to be stressed about it. I wanted to exercise my right as an attorney to literally shut the fuck up and send you to the trained media department that knows what they can say. And I would sometimes tell the media department, this is the next court date. This is what happened in court today. This is what the judge ruled. This is when trial started. Could I have answered those things myself? Yes. Did I want to open up that line of communication? No. Because I was overworked, I was busy, and I already had bad boundaries. So I didn't need to open up the world of shit. We're going to answer a few more questions just about Kohberger, and then we're going to move on to LawTube lawyer attorney Tom suing YouTuber turned WWE fighter Logan Paul over his CryptoZoo scandal. And we're going to ask how many of you have watched. Can we put up a poll? How many of you have watched CoffeeZilla's series on Logan Paul and CryptoZoo? That would be great. Thank you. Question: could this lawyer know Bryan Kohberger and his family personally? And that is, I don't think so. I don't, there's no evidence of that. I'm sure the media would dig it up, but there's no evidence of that. Is anything possible? Yes. Could Bryan Kohberger complain about what this attorney is saying? Yes. Could his defense attorneys take action to make this attorney shut up? Yes. I'm a bit behind, but man, this lawyer should be sanctioned. This is not okay. Strong circumstantial case. Dude, circumstantial or not, doesn't matter. It makes no difference. And that's not my biggest problem. Don't comment on the strength of the case against your defendant. I mean, this is just a probable cause affidavit. Lots more will come out. This client has the presumption of innocence like all clients and all persons accused of a crime do. I hope this case plays out in a court of law, not the court of public opinion. I no longer represent this defendant, but I still owe them a duty of attorney-client privilege, and I have no further comments other than to say you can go see my other public comments. Or, hey, there's a gag order in this case, and even though I'm not in that jurisdiction, I want to make sure to not put that defense attorney in a more difficult position. So thank you for asking, but there's really not much more I can say other than to point you to our previous public comments where we have released a statement that this defendant looks forward to being exonerated. I have nothing further to say. There are things that could be said if you had to say things, but I don't think you have to say things. Let's see if we have any other comments on this, and then we are going to move on. Runkle, Emily just went over a few BK lawyer interviews and horrified Rob. I'll send the links. Y'all, I'll put the links in our chat after I stream. Is he an elected official? I haven't looked. Is that why he's on a media tour? Like, isn't he supposed to be busy dedicating precious time to other clients? He's probably a supervisor and probably not handling a ton of cases on his own if he is the chief public defender. I did not look up if he was elected. Some are, some aren't. Bitter sweetheart, but ethics, correct. It's the effort flames. Flames on the side of my face, heavy breathing. I mean, it's... At this point, is there a reason the judge hasn't forced him to stop talking? Maybe nobody's asked the judge. Is that judge allowed to if he's off the case? The judge could ask the gag order be extended to all attorneys who have been involved with the case. I think the gag order was clear. I would have been nervous, but then they would have to go get a gag order in Pennsylvania as well. One would think the defense attorney would just be able to call and be like, yo, bro, no. If he did this interview with the hopes of advancing his firm, he doesn't have a firm. He's a public defender. I can tell you for sure it's backfired. I'd never want an attorney who's willing to go speak to the media so recklessly. He doesn't have a firm. He's a public defender. At this point, I hope he gets disbarred. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll keep looking. Could Bryan call for mistrial, misrepresentation? No, because this strikes me very badly, but this doesn't have to do with his in-court representation. And the jury hasn't been selected, so it doesn't prejudice him in that way. it's really not helpful. I think it's violated attorney-client privilege, but I don't think mistrial is the problem here. So could it be a problem for this person's license? Potentially. Could this be something where Bryan Kohberger says, hey, I didn't waive attorney-client privilege. Why is he talking? Yes, but mistrial wouldn't be the remedy. There would be other sanctions that would be the remedy. Bedazzled Life, good to see you. I think she launched herself. She said that Lipstickgate asked Morphe to bail her out and let her use their labs and factories. That's very possible. It's very possible that they bought Jacqueline Cosmetics to relaunch it. That's absolutely possible, that she launched it herself and then they bailed her out. Absolutely, absolutely possible. And a very good point. Jen Love, good to see you. I'm here listening to you all. Can't wait to hear Emily's take. I mean, I can't wait to go watch the rest of your take. I didn't finish it. Could this lawyer mess up the trial? I don't think so. If so, was that a plan by the defendant? I don't think so, because it can all be voir dired around. So glad you are doing a podcast on Murdaugh tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to your coverage. Thank you. I have a few other podcasts on Murdaugh that are there. Emily, why aren't higher-ups concerned about this? I don't think there are very many higher-ups from him. He is the chief public defender. I think he is the highest higher-up. Hello, my spiffy legal mumbo jumbo talkie friend. Hello, Matt Bond. Could this help be case? I don't think so. I don't think down the road it does. It's a media blitz, but it's weird. So Bruce Rivers says cell towers have 3 sides with 3 antennas. Generally they have 3 sides, but some have more than 3 antennas, so they can get a direction. That's true. Military towers can pick you up at the same time, so they can triangulate. Yes, they can triangulate. There's a lot of cell phone tower that I didn't get into, but this attorney saying they cover a broad swath for 20 miles and it's just super random really oversimplifies it. So how fast is this lawyer getting kicked from the case? He's already off the case because he was only the lawyer representing Bryan Kohberger through extradition. So yeah, it's tough. He is so full of it on the cell ping info. The phone would register on multiple towers at a time and pings would be received to use to determine the distance. He's trying to muddy the waters, or he hasn't. It's possible that he has not done cell phone data in a while, depending on how long he's been in administration. Not all attorneys understand cell phone data well. It depends if you've had to do it in your own cases or not. We don't know that about this attorney, but he did hyper simplify cell phone data. Don't let the public get comfortable thinking that they can just be willy-nilly on their cell phones and that things don't know where they are. And now they have his cell phone, presumably. They're going to have all the app information too, which can track your specific location much more. We don't know if the man wore an Apple Watch. There's all kinds of other ways to track. Victor said, this is your fault. I just completed level 55 on 2 dots. Look, some of y'all are 2 dots professionals. I'm embarrassed. I was like, I finally beat level 107. And some of you are like, I'm on level 6,000. I'm on level 2,000. I'm on level 3,493. I'm like, what? Y'all better than me, for sure. Way better. I get stuck easily on 2 dots. My ex's attorney is now my witness for talking like this. Idaho Rules of Evidence 502D. I'm not surprised. This attorney has absolutely made himself a witness. I will confidently say that. What the bar will do. Look, y'all, we've seen so much fuckery with the Girardi case and the Murdaugh case that I don't have confidence saying the bar is going to do this. I don't know. One more Morphe question, and then we're going to get into the next lawsuit. But with Morphe, I saw a question. How does this affect Morphe products still sold in stores? They're still allowed to be sold. The business is still allowed to run as they try to break these contracts and settle these claims, settle with the malls, settle with all of that. They are still allowed to be up and running and work. So they are allowed to sell products. They are allowed to continue to bring products in to try to restructure their business. This is a lot of what the airlines went through after 9/11. They all went into bankruptcies and restructured mostly their employee compensation packages, among other things, and employee retirements, but they restructured their debts owed so that they could survive. And that's what this restructuring is. So yes, they'll be still selling things online. Yes, they'll be selling products in the stores where they distribute, but they're closing their own stores and they are kind of streamlining the business. And we'll see what it looks like on the other side. So currently, public defenders' offices are funded solely by each of Pennsylvania's 67 counties. The system has led to wide disparity in funding. That is similar to California, where it is county by county by county. So let's go take a look. I do have a hard stop. I'm just letting Miguelina know I will push about 15. I'm going to be over on Up and Adam at 2:30 Central Time to talk about the Chrisleys and them turning themselves in, I'm sure, to custody or surrendering to custody. I'm sure we will talk about Jen Shah a little bit as well, but I will be over on Up and Adam after this live stream. So let's go look at these. I promised we got to questions, and I promised we were going to talk CryptoZoo lawsuits. So we're going to talk CryptoZoo law. There was a poll up. I want to see how many of you saw it. So we're going to go ahead and end the poll. CoffeeZilla went through in a 3-part series Logan Paul's crypto game called CryptoZoo, where you I don't know. He kept saying he wanted it to be the next Pokemon. CoffeeZilla was like, all of this seems sketch. So people lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the game never quite worked the way they said it would. And some people cashed out, not Logan Paul. There were people in this company that weren't doing what they were supposed to. Logan Paul said one of the main coders ran away with the code. The coder said they were never paid. There was a lot of back and forth in that. Then Logan Paul came out and kind of ripped into CoffeeZilla. And then Logan Paul came out with an apology and said, thank you, CoffeeZilla, and that they're going to rectify everything and they're going to finish the game that was never finished, and they're going to get it working right the way it was promised, and that they're going to refund some individuals. Well, yesterday, Attorney Tom did a video indicating that he is suing, and there's an asterisk on it, and we're going to talk about that asterisk, suing Logan Paul and the CryptoZoo individuals that are kind of listed out in CoffeeZilla's videos. So for those of you that have watched CoffeeZilla, 67% of you have not seen this, 32% of you have. It is a very interesting breakdown in the crypto world. CoffeeZilla does a great job of breaking down cryptocurrency and breaking down the crypto world, and then broke down this company, talked to people behind the scenes, got Discord chats and text messages, and really went through it. I think that CoffeeZilla did a really great job going through all of the information, and I don't find CoffeeZilla to be someone who makes a lot of assumptions. It's like, here's what I saw, and this is what I think. Like, this is what I found, and this is what I think. Logan Paul took that as being attacked, of course, because whenever your name is in thumbnails, you can see that one is like, where? So Logan Paul took that as being attacked and started making statements and then apologies and then deleting things and another apology, and it became a giant mess. Well, yesterday, Attorney Tom, and we will link it in the description below, Attorney Tom indicated that because Attorney Tom is a unicorn who practices law still. I know. He makes video and has clients. Wild. So Attorney Tom still actively sues people. We've talked about the Astro World lawsuits. Attorney Tom is representing a bunch of plaintiffs in that with other attorneys. And Attorney Tom is now representing a group of plaintiffs with regard to suing Logan Paul. And the reason I say suing is because he is taking it to arbitration. So it is a different process than a lawsuit that's just filed in court. Attorney Tom, in his video, which I will link so you guys can walk through it, shows the terms of service from CryptoZoo, which they use the Wayback Machine to find. And the terms of service on CryptoZoo have an arbitration clause, meaning instead of going to court and filing a lawsuit and saying, ha, I sue you, the way Logan Paul said he was going to do to CoffeeZilla for defamation, instead of going to court and suing someone, you demand arbitration under the arbitration provision of the terms and service. Lots of terms of service have arbitration provisions that say, hey, if you have an issue with this, you must go to arbitration. That's what Attorney Tom said was present with CryptoZoo, with the game, with the token, and everything else. It also had, when Attorney Tom was going through the terms of service that he pulled up, it also says there are no class actions. This is something that Facebook does, that Instagram does. Hey, you can't bring a class action, which would be like one lawsuit or one arbitration with multitudes of clients and up to thousands. Instead, it's like, hey, you have to bring this individually. So it seems like Attorney Tom and his law firm went, okay, Let's go to arbitration. Let's go to arbitration individually. We're going to see what he's going to arbitration over. I think the thing that businesses don't always consider when they put in arbitration agreements, and you can say it in the chat, hey, chat, if you're the company that forces the arbitration because you have the arbitration clause, it's not a agreed upon arbitration clause. You have an adhesion contract of these are the terms of service, and you put the arbitration clause in and say you must go to arbitration. Who pays for arbitration? Who pays for the arbitration? Because when you bring a lawsuit, the person who sues pays to bring the lawsuit. The person getting sues has to pay to defend it. But when the company forces arbitration, the company's the one that pays for arbitration. So when Attorney Tom is like, no, we got hundreds of clients who have had issues with CryptoZoo, the company who has the arbitration clause has to pay for arbitration. And when we're talking about paying for arbitration, we're talking about 20, 30, 40, 50,000 plus dollars. So if the company forces arbitration and Attorney Tom is bringing hundreds of arbitration provisions because there's no class action allowed, so each one has to be individual, we're looking at millions potentially of dollars in arbitration costs for CryptoZoo and Logan Paul. And then they all have to fight within each other over who is indemnified against what and what their things are. So whether it will end up being cheaper with a flood of arbitration than it will be doing a class action lawsuit, I don't know. Peng said it's still cheaper. It might be, but it's upfront costs that can be sizable. So I got my hot little hands on this first one. This is one of the claimants. Attorney Tom indicated in his video that he represents a lot of clients, against CryptoZoo, a Delaware corporation, shock, Logan Paul, Danielle Strobel, not Danielle Staub, my brain, stop it, brain, Jeff Levin, Eddie Ibanez, Jake Greenbaum, aka Crypto King, and others. So not the other crypto dude we talked about, the one that tried to sue Atuzi, not that one. This is Crypto King who was involved. Crypto King seems to be one of the few that took money out of this project. It seems that Logan Paul has never taken money out of this project. So let us continue. Wowzers. So that's a lot of cases for arbitration that have to be paid for. Yes, it seems to be, or they settle. Or that. Comes now the claimant, nature of the action. Claimant is a construction worker from Chicago, Illinois, who purchased digital currency products from respondents. CryptoZoo Inc. is a Delaware corporation that's created and or sells digital currency products in the form of digital currency called Zoo tokens, which could be used to purchase respondents' other products, CryptoZoo NFTs, for use in its online game, CryptoZoo. Emily, have you ever spent real-world money to play games where you hatched eggs? Why, yes. Yes, I have. Not this one, but yes, I have. There's a dragon one that I have played where you like breed little dragons. Pokemon Go, sometimes I just look, my character in Pokemon Go has the greatest gold suit right now. Did I have to buy the New Year's gold suit? Yes. Did I maybe exchange some real world currency for Pokecoins? Maybe. So can I understand where these investors are coming from? When you gamify things, I get it. This is not just crypto investing. This is the gamification of crypto investing, but also look at how awesome that suit is. Can we talk about it? Rad. So, yes, I played Dragon City. Yes, I've played Tamagotchi. Look, you can get me with all of these games. You will get me. Eventually, I will pay you real world money to do a thing. I understand. I just don't want to do it in the crypto space. Seems like I could lose a lot more money that way. So, the NFTs are discussed below are a form of digital assets that can be purchased, sold, and transfers on the Binance blockchain. Logan Paul is an entertainer with a sizable online audience. Yes, I think sizable is fair. Sizable is fair. Based on his own statements, information and belief. He's the founder and majority owner of CryptoZoo Inc. He keeps making statements. Those are all going to be downloaded. Daniel Strobel is Logan Paul's assistant, one of the founders of CryptoZoo. Jeff Levin is Logan Paul's manager, one of the founders of CryptoZoo. Eddie Ibanez is the lead developer of CryptoZoo. Jake Greenbaum, aka CryptoZoo or Crypto King, is one of the founders. Ben Roth is the manager of the CryptoZoo community. Respondents promoted CryptoZoo's products using Mr. Paul's online platforms to consumers unfamiliar with digital currency products, leading to tens of thousands of people purchasing said products. Unbeknownst to the customers, the game did not work or never existed. Respondents manipulated the digital currency market for Zoo tokens to their advantage. And this is some of the stuff that CoffeeZilla talked about in that CoffeeZilla talked about in his series on this. And Logan Paul has said it's not true. Logan Paul is like, look, the game did work. It did work. This is why this is going to arbitration. The respondents executed a rug pull, which is a colloquial term used to describe a scheme in which NFT developer solicits funds from prospective NFT purchasers, promising them certain benefits. Once the purchasers' funds are used to purchase, the developers abruptly abandon the project and fail to deliver. And there was money pulled out of this. And there was a pre-sale which seemed odd. So there was this pre-sale as well, to get people in and then to get the money out. Logan Paul did not take that money out. It does not matter. He created it. Jen, I can't talk about Farmville. I love my Facebook. Farmville was so fucking cool. I loved Farmville. I also loved Mafia Wars, the Facebook games, back in the day. Life was simpler. There were no rug pulling NFTs. You lost money the old-fashioned way, like Vegas, the stock market. Once the purchasers' funds are used to purchase NFTs, the developers abruptly abandoned the project and failed to deliver. As part of respondents' NFT scheme, respondents marketed CZ NFTs to purchasers by falsely claiming in exchange for transferring cryptocurrency to purchase the NFTs. Purchasers would later receive benefits, including, among other things, rewards, exclusive access to other assets, and the support of an online ecosystem to use and market their NFTs. In reality, soon after completing the sale of all of the CZ's NFTs, respondents, together with others, transferred millions of the claimant and other purchasers' cryptocurrencies to, among other places, wallets controlled by respondents. Acknowledging CryptoZoo's failings on January 13th, 2023, Mr. Paul released a video promising to, 1, burn his and Mr. Levin's Zoo tokens, create a rewards program for disappointed base egg and base animal holders, 3, to finish and deliver the game. The rewards program involves burning your base egg or base animal for the mint price, 0.1 ETH. Only 2 of 3 sets of CZ NFTs in CryptoZoo. So that does not seem to include everybody. The program does not include respondents' profitable Zoo tokens used to participate in the failed CryptoZoo game, or the 3rd set of CZ NFTs and hybrid animals. Around the same time, Paul or someone acting on his behalf posted messages in the CryptoZoo community confirming the exclusion of consumers who had already sold CZ NFTs from the rewards program. And this is a screenshot of that. If you sell, you lose. Common investing knowledge. Logan Paul was taken, has the little up arrow carrot in there. What will happen to the people who sold everything at a loss? Just current owners. So if you sell, you lose. Yep. Paul also posted that no one in the CryptoZoo community should put any more money into CryptoZoo, framing it as an investment before saying CryptoZoo was not posted that no one in the CryptoZoo community should put any more money into CryptoZoo, framing it as an investment before saying CryptoZoo was not intended as an investment vehicle. Please do not put any more money into CryptoZoo. He's probably saying, hey, I'm sick of you guys blaming your investment decisions on me, so I'm putting this in writing. Don't buy anymore, but that's just my guess. Logan Paul, 2 up carrots. Hey, Marvin, I believe there's been a misconception here. As outlined in the white paper, Zoo was created to support CryptoZoo, and it was not intended to be an investment vehicle. Eggs were 0.1 ETH when you sold or bought was not my decision. Mr. Paul said he would no longer be the scapegoat for anyone's financial decisions in denying responsibility for claimant and CryptoZoo's community losses. There was a lot of activity over there. This action seeks redress from respondents for their fraudulently promoting and selling products that did not function as advertised, failing to support the CryptoZoo project, and manipulating the digital currency. That manipulating the digital currency can be a big issue. Respondents operated this fraudulent venture to exploit and steal from claimant. That doesn't mean the other things aren't an issue, by the way, but manipulating the currency when you're looking at this as an arbitrator, it's like, right, but duty of good faith and fair dealing, you can't artificially bump it and then dump it. That is part of the problem, because the consumers, when they're investing in this game, believe it will deliver the way you say it's going to deliver, and believe that you're not going to artificially manipulate it, or should be able to rely on that. Respondents operated this fraudulent venture to exploit and steal from claimant and other customers who trusted Mr. Paul's false representations. Claimant is one of numerous consumers. Subject matter jurisdiction is proper because respondent established JAMS as the venue to resolve their disputes, because they listed that in their terms of service. And then this is a background on cryptocurrency, which we're not going to get through. Attorney Tom's explanation of cryptocurrency, misnomer, alter ego. This is going through the claimants are alter egos of each other, so they're saying they all deserve to be sued. Logan Paul will probably say, we set up a company for this. You can sue CryptoZoo, the company, but you can't sue me, the individual. And that will be dealt with inside of the arbitration. They're saying if you're not alter egos of each other, then you're principal agents of each other. We'll see if they get through that corporate veil to get to Logan Paul's assets. They're going to try to, because Logan Paul is going to have more assets than presumably CryptoZoo if the money was moved out to other wallets. Claimant was a viewer of Mr. Paul's online shows. While claimant was watching Mr. Paul's videos in late 2021, Paul advertised his new project, an NFT game called CryptoZoo. Paul promoted CryptoZoo as a game that makes you money, with a massive team supporting it, funded by like $1 million Mr. Paul claimed to have invested. Those clips are in CoffeeZilla's breakdown. The release date for the game to consumers was supposedly set for September of 2021. Respondents released the Zoo tokens and CZ NFTs on September 1st, but CryptoZoo was still not functional. Trusting Mr. Paul's promises that CryptoZoo would be functional, claimant purchased Zoo tokens with other digital currency and used the tokens to purchase the CZ NFTs from respondents to participate in the game. Claimant currently has 148,000 plus Zoo tokens. No, 148 million Zoo tokens and one CZ NFT in a digital wallet. He invested about $6,000 in CryptoZoo, first purchasing Zoo tokens on October 28th, 2021, and two CZ NFTs on November 3rd, before selling one on March 28th. After the launch date came and went, CryptoZoo was not released as advertised, and the value of the tokens plummeted. The value continued to drop because respondents manipulated the market for Zoo tokens by buying and selling them in bulk. Respondents caused claimant to effectively lose the vast majority of the value in the assets based on the above alleged behavior. Respondent scheme caused damage to claimant and other consumers. On information and belief, respondent made the business decisions to forego an expensive and time-consuming process to create a functional CryptoZoo game or support it, and instead deliberately undertook a scheme to defraud claimant and others consumers. On information and belief, June 11, 2021 was considered internally by respondents as Zoo Day, the day upon which they released, without any public notice, their digital products for purchase on the Binance blockchain. On Zoo Day, and until release was publicly announced, respondents purchased the digital products at an artificially low value. Soon after the project was publicly announced, one or more of respondents sold large amounts of the digital products for an immediate and large profit, effectively stealing the money of the consumers who had invested. This, by the way, in CoffeeZilla's, it looks like this is being alleged to be the crypto dude, not Logan Paul. So yes, they had a stealth pre-sale, so they could, before the free market was competing for it, they could buy in low, and then when they opened it up to investors and to fans, they could, well, pump and dump the crypto. It seems they could sell off theirs as fans were getting in trying to buy. So instead of it being an initial sale, it was a resale. It's kind of like, this is how I liken this. Emily, this is going to be a super basic explanation. Yes, it's like when the Starbucks employees, I'm not saying they all do this, this is a minimum amount, have access to the really pretty cups early and buy them early, and then they end up on eBay. It feels like the same thing to me. You had access to this thing behind the scenes before I even had access to it. I can't even have the opportunity to buy it yet, and you bought it. And the only way for me to go buy it is now on a secondary market because they're all sold out, or to try to fucking find it. So that's how it feels like to me. So anyway, the crypto market is going to get so regulated. It's just going to get so regulated. Respondents knew that they were supposed to hold on to any early purchase digital products until months after the public release because they knew that selling before then constitutes a rug pull and is fraudulent. Due to the unconscionability of respondents' fraudulent scheme, respondents should disgorge the revenue profit. Yes, they should disgorge it. Disgorge the revenue profit and other gains made therefrom to claimant. Give it back. Respondents manipulated, this is their allegations, manipulated the Zoo token market. Their standard operating procedure has been to promise products they failed to deliver on, only to abandon the project and community they promised to support. Due to these unconscionable practices, respondents should disgorge revenue and profits. Causes of action: fraud. Cause of action 2, express breach of contract. You said you were delivering the thing, you didn't deliver the thing. Let's see. Implied breach of contract, basically same but different theory. Unjust enrichment, but for your action, you shouldn't have done the thing. Violation of Delaware's Prohibited Trade Practices Act. Let's see. Respondents' conduct concerning their false advertising, failure to provide promised products and services, manipulation of the market, failure to disclose information concerning the process, and failure to support claimant and the CryptoZoo community has as enumerated in this demand, constitutes false, unfair, misleading, unconscionable, and or deceptive acts under the DPTP. These facts were known to respondents at all times. Count 6, negligence. Let's see what the specific negligent acts and omissions committed by respondents are, but are not limited to. Here's just a few. Promoting products and services that did not exist as promoted, causing claimant to purchase said products or services under false pretenses, representing that CryptoZoo would be functional and making false representations despite that knowledge, willfully failing to provide functional products and services to their consumer even after receiving revenues from their fraudulent venture, willfully manipulating the market for Zoo tokens and their NFTs, and willfully failing to support claimant and the CryptoZoo community. Count 7, fraudulent misrepresentation. Hey, you can't do that. To be fair, in the Starbucks example, it's not illegal. Like, the thing's not illegal. It might be against the rules of the company, but it's not illegal. This leans into the illegal space. Respondents fraudulently represented to the public that CryptoZoo would be functional and they would be supporting it. Count 8, conspiracy to commit fraud. Those are the conversations, some of which coffee's illuminated. Damages, loss of assets, actual damages and treble damages, triple. Exemplary damages under the DPTP, actual damages including economic damages. Let's see. Damages including mental anguish, civil penalties, prejudgment interest, attorney's fees, cost of the action. Well, they're going to bear a lot of the cost of the action. Punitive damages, attorney's fees, incorporation of paragraphs above, prayer for relief, which is money. Give us back the money, attorney's fees, and such. So this is Attorney Tom and Associates. This is for local counsel. No, not local counsel. Somebody's got to be local counsel. Also a Texas firm. Attorney Tom said in his video, and I'll refer you back there, if you were involved, purchased CryptoZoo, et cetera, you can talk to an attorney. There's not going to be a class action at this point, where if you were damaged and there's a class action settlement, you get like an email or like something in the mail like, hey, you could have been part of this class. You're going to have to take proactive action and talk to an attorney, Attorney Tom or others, and ask about this. So that is just practical advice. If it is in his video, if you were curious, I was curious in going through this, but it looks like they are going to be doing a lot of arbitration. We will not see that play out publicly the way we see lawsuits play out publicly. So Yes, they are bringing arbitration. No, it is not a traditional lawsuit. Yes, it is seeking to get damages in a non-court process that can go a little faster than going to a jury trial. So this is a jams arbitration where they are seeking to get back their money from CryptoZoo. We will see, because some of this the rug pulling is tremendously problematic, and there's definitely evidence of that provided by CoffeeZilla. Whether that will hit Logan Paul as an individual or just CryptoZoo as the company, whether that will hit Crypto King differently, because it looks like when you start tracing the wallets back, who took what. But then again, who's in charge of the company, and how responsible are they in all of these questions? Are they, was Logan Paul acting as the company to where the company doesn't offer protection? Did the company have proper legal protections? Were they having corporate minutes? Were they doing all the things they needed to do? So we will see what happens. Is Logan Paul going to address these? I don't know. Has he made other videos about this? Yes. Has he come out and threatened to sue CoffeeZilla? Yes. Did he walk that back? Yes. He walked it back. He walked it back in a new video.
CoffeeZilla
that was just really loud in my headphones. He walked it back in a new video that's on like a second channel. Thank you, CoffeeZilla. So he walked it back in this video that's 2 minutes long. So it's just
not a criminal. I called him. CoffeeZilla is not a criminal.
I want to know, behind the scenes, did Logan Paul, because he threatened to sue CoffeeZilla and a bunch of other stuff, did his attorney go, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't sue him for saying this situation seems sus. You can't do that. So then I wonder if it's like, you have got to walk this back, or CoffeeZilla is going to sue you. You've got to walk back the defamation or potential defamation per se, or you might get sued. Walk it back. I will make this a little bit louder. It was so loud in my ears, it scared the absolute shit out of me. I'm terrified. So, yeah.
Called him. I apologized. My initial response to his series was that of fire, an ego flare, whatever it is, pride. I'm a fighter at heart, and I was
pissed. You were pissed. Okay.
Defensive, because I know I never scammed anyone with this project. I never made any money, never sold any tokens, and I only had the best intentions going in.
So you don't have to make money for it to be a problem. Roberta said the lawyer probably told him, "Do you know about discovery?" Possibly. Absolutely. Oh, so.
But the fact is that suing CoffeeZilla is not going to help CryptoZoo holders, so I do need to.
Suing CoffeeZilla is not going to help because there's nothing to sue him over. I'm glad we've all realized this and we're on the same page. Also, the intentionality of the thing and the actions of the thing, it's like, there were a lot of internal communications that CoffeeZilla shared. I should probably go juxtapose them and talk about it, but saying, I didn't mean to scam somebody. Well, there was a rug pull, and your company seems to have offered a pre-sale so that people could manipulate the market. So yes, it doesn't help CryptoZoo investors that you sue CoffeeZilla. Agreed. But Attorney Tom is now like, that's fair, but here we go. So shouldn't CoffeeZilla sue Logan Paul? Probably not. I don't think it's worth the energy and the effort, truly. And it would be interesting. It would be interesting to have a conversation about whether there's actual damage to CoffeeZilla. Because I think I don't know if CoffeeZilla saw actual damage from it, or if most people looked at Logan Paul's video and went, lol, we saw CoffeeZilla's videos. I don't know. Damages might be hard because they're both arguably public figures.
Focus my attention where it should be, which is on fans and supporters of
arbitration.
You guys mean the world to me, so I'd like to announce my 3-step plan moving forward. Step 1.
It sounds like he's reading something very fast.
1. Jeff and I are going to burn our Zoo tokens, so we have no financial upside in the game, and it will add value to holder tokens.
I don't know if that's going to stem the tide. I think it might be too late to stem the tide on trying to prop this up.
Step 2, we want to offer a rewards program for players who are disappointed in the status of the game. So essentially, you're going to be able to burn your base egg.
I don't know if disappointed is fully encompassing.
Or your base animal for the mint price, which was 0.1 ETH or the equivalent in BNB.
When people bought this, though, I imagine that the value of ETH was higher than it is now. Kami Rose, this is a good point. He did call him a criminal. It is defamation it could be defamation per se. So you don't need to prove damages. However, if CoffeeZilla doesn't have damages, the amount a lawsuit would cost to initiate and go through might not be worth it to him. But then again, he does have a $10 million studio, so maybe he's just got the cash to burn it. I'm being sarcastic.
I was being sarcastic because, well, if you've been following this whole saga, you know that Logan Paul was like, he's got a $10 million studio when it's clearly a... Yeah.
So I don't think CoffeeZilla gets anywhere by suing him. Even though if he did call him a criminal, it can technically be defamation per se. I just don't think it helps. I don't know if it helps as a practical matter.
Personally committing 1,000 ETH to this, which is about $1.3 million right now for players who want to get out. And then step 3, obviously finish and deliver the game as outlined in the white paper by completing the egg bridge.
Did they ever give a timeline? They're like, we'll just finish the game 20 years from now.
Bridge from ETH to BSC for base animals and base eggs, completing the marketplace and obviously completing the releasing your animals into the wild to accrue your yield function.
It was said in CoffeeZilla's videos that there were functions of this game where there were supposed to be functions of the game where you could like cash it out. Like, I don't know, like you release your Pokemon back to the professor, like you release it back into the wild and then you get some money out. In the interviews that CoffeeZilla did, individuals told him that that function never worked. So there was never a way to cash out, even though it was promised that that was a central part of this game. So we're almost done here because then I've got to hop over to Up and Adam's channel.
To say I am disappointed in how this was handled internally is an understatement.
That is going to be the fight when this goes to arbitration. The real fight at arbitration. Yes, Attorney Tom has stacks of clients, it seems, but the fight internally is going to be the internal finger pointing of who is financially responsible for this. And yes, Logan Paul might be the bigger name, but also Logan Paul's not the one who took the $6 million out, but he's the one that brought the team in and he's the one that marketed it. So just like when we look at something like Fire Festival, how responsible are the influencers shilling the thing versus the individuals who are doing the thing? And he is an owner of this company, so it's going to be very interesting. CoffeeZilla went on the official podcast. He said he's taking a break right now and we'll post a response on his channel. I want to see the response on his channel for sure. So hopefully that will be up. It will be great. Is this the guy, the prime drink guy? Yes, it is. Which apparently has the high school aged central middle Tennessean guys gripped. Like we were at the mall because we needed to go to GameStop because I wanted to get God of War for me. And so we're at the mall and there were just teens all over the place drinking Prime. Travis is like, everyone drinks at school. Like his drink is super popular. But here's the thing. Look, Mr. Beast has tried and done a lot of different products and we've never seen things like this. You can try something new, but you can't rug pull an NFT project under your community.
There's a full internal investigation going on along with an audit, and we are going to pursue full legal action for whomever needs to be held accountable.
Oh, you can explore that within arbitration.
If any money is recovered in the process, it'll go right to the community. My sole obligation is to my supporters, and I know this video is long overdue.
This is going to be a mess.
Here it is.
This is the third or fourth try.
I'm sorry, guys. I apologize for how this has unfolded thus far, and I want people to know that they can trust me and that I'll always take care of the fans and people who support me. I appreciate your guys' patience.
This one's going to be tough.
Our internal investigation, and I promise to be transparent and disclose.
internal investigation and transparency is what's being promised.
Disclose any information we find out in the process. And lastly, thank
Well, he said all this. Arbitration is going to make some of this hard. Like, some of his promises are going to be very difficult. I wish he had spoke. It seems like he either didn't speak to lawyers or did not heed the advice of lawyers. You need a conversation between crisis PR and lawyers to talk and make sure that you're not making your case worse for yourself, because those statements live even if you delete them off the internet. So it's going to be difficult. They're within arbitration, there's going to be a lot of finger pointing on who needs to be held accountable, and those who are in arbitration will likely get paid before those who are not in arbitration. So I know Logan Paul's like, I want to get it back to the community, but there are those putting themselves in line first by saying, you know what, forget, we're getting lawyers involved. This has gotten out of control and we're getting lawyers involved and we lost a bunch of money. And if you want us to arbitrate, we'll arbitrate, because you promised us a product. What you delivered wasn't the product, and it looks like there was a rug pull. So, oh man, you can trust me, source, dude, trust me. And it's hard because I think Logan is in a very difficult position, but you know what? Don't end up in the difficult position. But it's what do you say? Well, you talk to the lawyers first before you say anything that could further damage your case or open you up to further litigation. And it's hard. I think there's a lot of ego involved. He said there was ego involved, and ego can make it very hard to pause and respond thoughtfully and carefully. And he didn't respond thoughtfully and carefully at the beginning, which can be very difficult to do. So this is going to be very interesting. And again, the Prime drink's really popular. It seems like people enjoy him on WWE. I don't know if the NFT needed to happen, but if those looked like money grabs, it's just wild. And that's just, again, that's what it looks like based on watching CoffeeZillas. Is it going to help Logan that he's not the one that money grabbed? Maybe in the court of public opinion, but maybe not in the court of law as the founder, investor, and the promoter of this product. We will see. Ego destroys more cases than people will ever really understand. Oh, it's so true, Rob. Because in civil particularly, in criminal it's a little bit different, but in civil particularly, you have to sit down and look at somebody and be like, does this help? First of all, does this matter? And is a judge telling you you're right going to help you if you spend $500,000 to do this? Because I'll just tell you, you're right. Fuck that person, they suck. You're right. Do you feel better? Do you want to spend $500 to have somebody in a black dress tell you that? Do you need a jury to tell you that? What are you going to get if a jury tells you that? And if you spend all this money to get a jury to tell you that, can that person pay you? Will that person pay you? Now, if you're doing that calculus as like a Johnny Depp, you're like, yep, put that shit on TV, sit down with a jury. I don't care if I don't get a dime. I need my story told. Worth it for him, I think. He made that calculus, decided it was worth it. But for most people, you look at that amount of money and you look at somebody telling you you're right and you're like, is it worth it? Now for companies, it's different. Companies are like, this much money, let's get together. But a lot of time you just need to let people vent. Now that you've vented, do you feel better? Can we let this go, please, Muffin, please? Yes.
Yes. Okay, Muffin, you're right. They suck. Fuck them. I hear you. I'm a lawyer. I'm on your side. How much money do you want to spend for someone else to tell you what I just told you? Is it worth it? Or can we let it go? Let it go?
Sometimes you just have to, which is why people don't pursue it, because sometimes it's just too difficult to pursue. All right. And with that, I need to go over to Up and Adam's channel. If you guys are on the YouTubes, it is Up and Adam. On the YouTube, I think we're doing a live stream. What are we doing? Let me go to YouTube and look. Adam was like, do you want to do a thing? And I was like, yes. And then I was like, just message my team and we'll talk about it. And I'll put a link below. I love Adam. We haven't had a conversation in way too long. It looks like, what are we doing? It looks like we are doing a live stream over on his channel in just a few minutes. So I will I will be over there in just a moment. So if you guys want to talk more about the Chrisleys, that's where I'm going to be doing it today. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So over on Up and Adam on, I like his banner over here on the YouTubes. I put the link in. So yes. With that, y'all, that's where I will be. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a Lawnerd. We will talk more Amber Heard stuff on Thursday. I will keep you up to date on the stream for next week. There will be a Emily Show podcast on Wednesday. Quick Bits podcast over on the Quick Bits channel will be out on Friday. And then next week, we're back, baby. Gavel to Gavel trial streaming starting next week, probably on Wednesday. So what we might do is just switch around days a little bit and do the podcast on Tuesday. I'll keep you posted. But if you guys have missed me being in your ear, on your screen, and talking to you throughout your entire workday while people testify, well, get ready to live your best because we're getting into trial coverage. With that, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a Lawnerd. I appreciate you. It's time to go. I got to go. Okay, bye.
You can find all the Lawnerd goodies at lawnerdshop.com. Connect with me on social media at the Emily D. Baker. And don't forget to check out my podcasts, The Emily Show, and the new podcast, Quick Bits, summarizing everything I talk about on my Tuesday and Thursday live streams. You know, when you only have time for just the quick bits.